Welcome to the Late Night with Chalky podcast. I'm Jay Late Night Larson.
And I'm Lyndon Chalky Cabellion. In each episode, we will be talking to different surfers and surf shops to learn more about them and their passion for surfing. We will be diving deep into their experiences as well as their involvement and contributions to their local communities.
Be sure to check out our website and Instagram feed for updates on future shows. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to sharing these great stories with you.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Yes, we got sponsors.
First up,
Wax,
the best wax in the game.
This stuff is so sticky and grippy, you'll never slip off your stick again.
Ever.
Again.
So go to your local surf shop.
And make sure they carry it. And if they don't,
demand it.
You'll be stoked. Try it out. Our next sponsor, Bonsai Bowls.
Oh.
I know a lot of our listeners have had one of these, and if they haven't, they're going to now.
They're missing out.
It's
a healthy, delicious,
amazing, fresh acai bowl with tons of fruit and organic ingredients.
They've got 5 locations in Southern California,
from Huntington to San Clemente and all in between.
Please give us a 5-star rating and spread the word.
Hawaii for those on the North Shore.
Good friends.
And come
awesome
support these guys. They have amazing acai bowls, and they support the West Coast board riders and a lot of the surf events up and down the coast.
And they've made it a lot easier to get them. They've got their own app now.
That's right. Go to your app store and download Bonsai Bowl app, and you can pre-order, prepay, and just go pick up. Cut through the line.
And for our listeners of the Late Night with Chalky podcast,
you're going to get 15% off your next bowl.
A 15% discount off Bonsai Bowls.
That's insane.
So make sure to mention the Late Night with Chalky podcast, and you get 15% off at Bonsai Bowls.
And one of our other favorite restaurants?
Caliente OC.
Caliente Southwest.com. They offer healthy Mexican style food with local organic ingredients.
Family owned. Their phone number is 949-515-0909. And our listeners get
15% off there as well.
Yeah. So mention Late Night with Chalky podcast and get 15% off at Caliente OC.
And both these guys are great at catering events. So you could use them for a shop event, corporate event, birthday event, wedding, all of the above.
They love to party. And last but not least, we are super stoked to welcome Olo Clip as a new sponsor of the Late Night with Chalky podcast.
What is Olo Clip?
They make the original mobile lens system for your phone. So these can make clips that hold the lenses, the cases that are designed to make it really easy to get the clip on the phone. So check them out at oloclip.com. And for all the Late Night with Chalky podcast listeners, they get 10% off.
That's huge.
Huge. So at checkout, the code is SURF10. That's SURF, the number 10. And you get 10% off Olo Clip.
And you guys got to check out our Instagram. We're going to be posting pictures with these wide lens angles, fish eye, all kinds of cool photo options with your phone.
And for you rich dudes out there, like Late Night, they do make lenses for iPhone 11s.
What? Epic.
Thank you, sponsors.
Thank you.
Friends and family, brothers and sisters, welcome to the Late Night with Chalky podcast.
Welcome. We're sitting here with a good friend who owns an amazing restaurant chain, some of the most delicious acai bowls on the planet, Mr. Joe Bard with Banzai Bowls. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for having me.
Nice.
We love it.
We're here in Costa Mesa, in what would you call this room? Is this the green room?
The conference room.
The conference room. It's a nice little compound in Costa Mesa, home of Bonsai Bowls. So, Joe.
Jump in there right away.
We're going to jump in right away.
Okay, bring it on.
Where and when did you start surfing?
So, I started surfing in Seal Beach at the age of 9 years old.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
where'd you grow up? Where were you from?
Which one first?
I want to hear more about 9 years old, and I grew up in Seal Beach, and
I didn't grow up in Seal Beach.
okay, you started surfing there.
Yes. So I'm originally from Whittier,
Whittier.
and I'm one of 5 kids, and I have
Big family.
2 older brothers, and I basically was a skate rat my whole life growing up as a kid, and my older brothers got me into surfing around 8, 9 years old.
Nice.
We would go straight down the 605. It'd take about 25 minutes, and we'd be in Seal Beach.
Nice.
Yeah.
You started crabs, north side.
Crabs.
Yep.
Started surfing crabs in the river. I remember I was like, surfing crabs, looking out at the river, going, man, do I really want to paddle all the way over there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of intimidating when you're a kid because it's like
At 9
Yeah.
years old?
yeah, you got
Yeah.
that like yeah
Yeah,
the crossing.
So it is, and you can get a current depending if the tide's changing or not, and
Yeah.
and
Did you boogie board first or
no,
straight into surfing?
Just straight into surfing. My older brother, actually, my first surfboard was a twin fin rock and fig,
Nice.
Wow.
and it was gray. I remember it.
Do you have
From
it?
garage
I wish
sale?
I did. I'm so bummed.
I do too. I wish I kept some of my.
I wish I kept it, but I know I sold it to upgrade,
That's
to
usually
another
happens.
board.
Yeah. Did you get it from a garage sale or?
Hand me down.
No, I actually got it from. Man, I don't know. I either got it from Rock and Fig or I got it from Chuck Dent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those two. Back in the day, because
They were.
there was always moving around all the shops right there on 5th Street between 5th and
Yep.
Main. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hand-me-downs, usually, if you have older brothers, typically you would probably get a hand-me-down, but they had a good selection of, like, secondhand or used
Yeah.
boards. Like, that was probably, right up your alley.
It was. I was.
So you were
stoked.
a little skate rat.
Yes.
So did you skate parks and stuff back then too?
Yeah,
Or was there any skate parks back then?
Yes, there was. There was Skate City in Whittier,
Okay.
and I was a street skater. I grew up working. I actually didn't get paid working there. I got paid in product, but there was a skate shop called Skate Cafe.
Skate Cafe.
Skate Cafe in Whittier, and it was right down the street from my house, and I was there literally every day after school, the weekends. When all the big name guys would come in, Guerrero, Hawk, Cab, Hustle, all these guys would come in. I was right there,
Nice.
like in the mix. I put decks together, whatever I did.
So that was
the guy paid me in product.
That was your first job in
That was like my first, in
the industry.
like seeing the industry. Yeah,
Sick.
absolutely.
That's where you got to start. I cleaned boards at Robert August for jams lunches and
Yeah.
and product.
Totally.
Yeah, it's awesome.
My first job was at Bullet
No way.
at Sakel.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
when it
is
was
so
on
funny.
Bolsa and Heil a
Wow.
long ass time ago.
That is a long time ago. I worked for Seiko.
No.
Did you know that?
No,
Yeah, I worked with Ed
I
and
kind of vaguely remember, but
Shauna. Was in there. Yeah, I worked at Seiko for a couple years
The one on Main Street?
on Main Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
so cool.
Was that okay? Let's go back. Let's
surfing?
So surfing, it took over skateboarding, or did you just hand in hand?
You know what? I don't know. I kind of, how can I say? I grew up, obviously I didn't grow up around here. I grew up in a little bit rougher
Yeah.
of an area.
Same here, bro.
So it was kind of like I was on the streets all day, every day. I was skateboarding all day, finding new skate spots. And then my oldest brother, he would literally, hit me up after school or, when he was getting off work and be like, dude, I'm picking you up. Let's go. We're going to Seal. And I'd be like, all right, let's go. So I actually remember surfing crabs. And I don't know why, but I told myself, if I can paddle into a wave and catch it and stand up, I'm going to surf the rest of my life. And I remember I paddled
simple
out
as
there.
that.
Yeah, and I paddled out and I kept trying to catch waves, while I see my brother off in the river, surfing in the river, and
Were your brothers pretty good?
They were all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I mean, they were all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely can stand, do turns, you know.
Yeah.
But, and I remember I caught a wave at Crabs and I stood up and I was all by myself and I remember like, oh, this was it. Now I know surfing's for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know? And
Yeah.
I was just psyched. I got the bug.
That's
Yeah.
You know?
It happens.
Because I started off being a skateboarder too and boogie boarding a little bit. Boogie boarding a lot, but skateboarding was like my main thing. And then when I found surfing, it was like, fuck, this is the best thing ever. And I didn't really, I tried to surf Crabs and I was okay. I kept falling. I was having a really hard time. And then one day at Bolsa Chica, I was riding a purple like lightning bolt. Purple though.
Sick.
And kind of like the board that's here right now. But I stood up and fucking, this one session I distinctly remember my sister took me and my friends to Bolsa. And I remember just, it clicked. Like, I knew how to do it all of a sudden. I was like, what the fuck? This is how it's done?
Yeah.
Stood up and just go,
Yeah, it's crazy.
down the line. I'm just like, wow, this is it. I'm fucking doing it finally.
It's so easy to get, like you said, the bug. I tell my kids, it's like free roller coaster rides, because every wave is like,
Absolutely.
you could go fast, you could wipe out, like not that you wipe out on a roller coaster, but you just get that rush, I'm like, you could just nonstop. You want to go all day?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
awesome.
did you ever get into competition with skateboarding or surfing or?
So, when I was a kid, I actually did some castle,
Oh yeah.
contests.
Yep.
And I don't know. I probably did maybe a handful of them, and then I realized like I was more of a street skater, because I liked just skating. I mean, I was from Whittier and I would skate to Huntington Beach or Seal Beach
Wow.
on my skateboard. I would either take
the bus and then skate.
I would literally like ride my bike down this road called Lambert to Harbor, and I would literally go to Harbor and either catch a bus or I would skate until the bus would catch me. So I would keep going.
You're like, I'm not
till
waiting
the
for
bus
this
would
bus.
catch
I'm just
me or
going
my
to
friends.
hit
Yeah.
features all the way down
Yeah.
until it like catches up.
Yeah,
I don't think kids do that anymore, right?
they don't. I don't think so.
No,
I
they
don't
have
know.
dads and moms that Uber them around. Put their hands up.
Yeah, life's too easy now.
Life's way too freaking easy.
Everything's at your fingertips.
So all right.
Roads are dangerous though, you guys, with all the like crazies and pet
Yeah.
and stuff. So I prefer not to have them on the street.
That's true.
Do you know Teppy Benjamin's from Whittier?
I don't know, Tep.
Okay, never mind.
No.
He might be from La Habra.
Yeah, some of them more.
He's another guy from that area that I
Okay.
thought you would know, and he worked at Surf and Sport too with us a while back.
Hmm.
But so surfing, skateboarding, take us to how you found your way in the industry.
Well, this is funny, Jay. I told you there was a good story about you.
Uh-oh.
So it's a good story.
Nice.
You don't know this story. But, so, I, left home at an early age. I
Kicked
left-
out or ran away or?
More ran away.
Okay.
And I left right before I turned 17 years old. And I was like, I'm moving to Huntington. I had some friends down there already. I knew some people, and I was like, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Were you
And-
graduated already or no?
No.
Damn, dude.
And so,
Fucking little rebel.
yeah, I had my 19...
Joe Rebel Bard. There's your new nickname.
I had my 1971 VW bus, dude. I could do
That's it.
anything. Yeah, so anyways, I moved down to Huntington, and I remember I stayed on a couch and paid $100 a month, for a couch. And I was like, I'll do that, And then I got a job at Seiko,
Okay.
Well, I got a job at Seiko way later. I was at Seiko, and then I was at the Closet,
Yeah.
with Billy.
Yeah.
But when I was at Seiko, I had a blast. It was great. Ed is stand-up guy. I mean, loved working with Ed, and Shauna's great, and then in the evenings I would get off of work at Seiko, and if you remember where Wind and Sea moved in on the corner right there, I believe it was Olive and Main.
Yeah.
You know, do you remember Jack had Wind and Sea right there for a while?
Yeah.
Then I would leave Seiko and go work with Jack. And dude, I was like a Grom, bro, and he'd send me right to the liquor store, bro, and be like, he loved Heineken's. That was
So
his beer.
amazing.
And he would send me to go get Heineken's, you know, and he'd call the liquor store and tell him, hey, Joe's coming to get me some beers.
What Salem? What's what liquor store?
What's
the one on?
It's right across the street.
Yeah. What's the name of it? I'm drawing a blank.
It's like right across the street from Seiko, right next to. It was like the
Mr. Liquor Store Man is what I used to call him all the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but it was basically like caddy corner.
Coaches.
Yeah.
The guy,
It's where Coaches is now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
The
it
guy
was
that
like
started
caddy corner.
Coaches worked at that liquor store. He's
Oh,
like
no
one
way.
of the kids, yeah.
Oh, what a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would walk.
Ghetto Boy Network, like delivery.
Absolutely. You know, and I'd walk over there and pick up his sixer, and he'd throw me one, and we'd keep working.
So you worked at Seiko in the day and
Yeah.
then worked Wind and Sea at night.
Yes. And
Okay.
I did that. I was doing that for...
Just working the floor.
Yeah. So, I mean, back then you got money for selling surfboards. You know,
Yeah.
you made a commission.
Yeah.
So Ed at the time gave you $10 for a shortboard and I believe $20 or $25 for a longboard.
Nice.
Right? And so my whole thing was, so Ed was like, hey, if you sell over a 7.0 and up, you get $20 or $25.
So everybody was buying longboards.
I was putting
So you were the
everyone,
fucking problem.
No, I was putting everyone in 7.0s.
That's too small, man.
And I was telling them, go towards, like, if you surf between Golden West and 17th Street, it'd be perfect for you.
Yeah.
That's
Catch
what I
way,
tell
way
everybody.
more waves on this
Yes.
board.
No wonder
Totally.
the lineup got filled up with longboards.
Oh, man. It was hilarious.
Hey,
So-
you gotta make a buck.
But, so anyways, how I got in the industry is, you know, there was this, I haven't seen this person in a long time. Last time maybe was like 3-4 years ago down in Encinitas, but her name was Kathy Quintana. I don't know if it rings a bell.
Quintana
But-
sounds familiar.
I don't know.
She used to judge surf contests, and she did NSSAs and South Coast Surf Series and all these events, right? And I'd always see her out at Northside, you know? And one day, she just powered up to me and she said, hey, wonder if we can talk for a minute. You know, I wanted to talk to you about something. I was like, okay.
Like,
And she
fuck,
goes,
I'm
well,
looking up.
yeah, she was like, well, you know, want to see if maybe you'd be interested in judging surf contests. And I was like,
Oh,
what?
recruiting.
Why? I'm all, why? I've never judged a contest. And she goes, I don't know. I just like your demeanor, and if you know, if you want, I can train you, and I can teach you. And I was like, wow.
Can I make some money at this?
Yeah,
Was she
exactly. Yes, she was
Okay.
older, and you know, I was like, wow. And she's like, yeah, and you know, you'll make money. It's basically Saturday and
were
Sunday.
you like 18, 19 years old or what?
Oh man, I was 17, 18 at
Wow.
this time.
So, yeah, early
Still
on.
young.
Yeah, still
Okay.
young.
So,
And-
Seiko, Wind and Sea, judging.
Judging on the weekends.
Yeah.
And so the funny thing is, though,
Hear that, kids?
Hustler.
yeah, and the funny thing is though, actually, Jay, the first time she told me to meet her, you know, at Tower 4 on Northside, she was like, meet me here, and we're just gonna watch guys, you know, that surf, and we're gonna judge them. So I met her at Tower
I'm in this
4.
bright pink or green suit.
I remember, we're at Tower 4, and it was so funny. Jay, you were walking out, and she was like, Joe, this is perfect. You know, Jay is a good surfer. He's a local guy here. I'm all, oh yeah, I know who he is. You know, I see him around.
He's
and
a
she
dick.
was like, yeah, she's like, so let's, you know, he's going to be perfect. We're going to watch every wave and like judge his waves. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And I remember,
How
I was
fucking
like,
funny is this?
I saw.
Small world
I'll
right
never
now.
forget. Actually, I saw Jay come up, smack it, and do like a layback, and you know pull
Mac
it.
Larson.
And
You're
yeah,
10.
I was like, and I'm like, well, what would you give that? And she was all, that would be around a 7.2. You know, and I was like, oh man, I'm way off. I was like thinking like a 9.5.
Island maneuver.
Yeah, you know, and she was like, no, see, he didn't get 3 to the beach because back then it was 3 to the beach.
Yeah.
You know, it
So
was like,
funny.
Yeah.
He never got through to the beach, though.
I was all about the big one whenever. No, that's so incredible.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
That was kind of my step in, and then my actual first job with the company was Etnies.
Wow.
Etnies.
Best job I ever had.
How did how did you go from working surf
Sequel,
shops?
Wind and Sea. On the weekends, you judged.
Yep, I still
How long
judged.
did you do that for?
I did it for quite a few years.
Okay.
So I'd do Rob Machado's contest. Like I did so many events, judging. And I picked up some here and there when, some events didn't have a judge. I'd get the call, hey, we need an extra, heard this and that. So, yeah.
Etnies, did you know people there or you saw a job opening?
No, someone approached me.
Epic.
I can't remember who, but someone approached me and was like, dude, we're hiring at Etnies. And,
For what job?
Warehouse.
Okay.
And like maybe sales, maybe marketing.
So they were young and small, and they're
absolutely.
Yeah.
They were actually right behind Ruka. They were on
Costa
16th
Mesa.
Street in Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
And
Steve Black was working there, right? You know Steve Black?
Steve Black, maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
But it was just
small little crew though, right? It's Pierre, probably Don, and
Pierre, Don, Derek Roche.
Derek,
yeah. Love him. This guy Nick. I don't know if you know Nick was there. He was kind of like an English guy, had an accent.
Yeah, he was working there when I was working there.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a job there, and I was like, all right, cool. Like Etnies, wow. I mean, my roots were skateboarding, so this is insane.
Yeah.
And
they were probably just starting to get into surfing too.
They weren't, and that was my hopes. My hopes was, when I was talking to the guys, like, hey, if they're thinking of getting into surfing, they weren't yet, and if something came up, the hopes was hopefully I would
get that
be
position.
the guy.
Yeah.
Because when I took a job there, I was the only surfer.
Yeah.
I was the only guy that worked there that surfed, literally. And man, what a trip it was back in the day. Like,
but you're lucky that you skated because you got along with them because they.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it was rough. Back then. I mean, you had to show up to work on time, right? Like, but come noon, you were able to drink.
Skate break. You were able to drink.
You were able to drink, man. Everyone started pulling out the sauce, you know?
Because it's action sports, baby.
Yeah. And it was a trip, man. I remember, like, at lunch, it was like, okay, take the break. You can have some, everyone would be drinking a little booze, you know?
Yeah.
And
plus, they're like, wait, you want to go surf or you want to go skate for an hour?
Yeah.
Come back and get your work done.
Oh, you went to work with your skateboard.
Yeah.
Everyone had their skate.
Yeah.
That's the lifestyle. You know? It's like, hey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what did you end up getting? Like, what was your first position at Etnies? A little bit of everything, or
mainly warehouse.
Yeah.
It never evolved. It never evolved to more, you know. And I ended up leaving Etnies, and
how long were you there for?
I was at Etnies for probably a year and a half.
So yeah.
A year and a half or so. Okay. Maybe 2 years.
But it was fun. But it was cool. But you weren't seeing the growth,
fun.
or.
You know what? They just weren't ready for surf. The surf wasn't happening, and that's where my interest lied the most. You know what I mean? And so then I left Etnies, and I got a job at Spiderbuilt.
Whoa.
So when Spider Surfboards had all the boys on the crew, when it was big, they started Spider Built, which was the clothing side.
Yeah.
And I worked there.
Torrance?
Right here in Costa Mesa.
No way. They had an office here?
Yes. They were right down the street.
Got it.
Yeah, so...
But it wasn't Jarvis then, was it?
Well, it was Jarvis and this guy, Randy.
Okay.
And Randy and Jarvis were partners on it.
Yeah.
And how'd you hook up with those guys?
Do you know who Lee Granger is?
Yeah.
So...
Lee Granger, surfer?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lee Granger, 54th Street, 56th Street local, here in Newport. Me and him were good friends, and he told me about it, and he said, hey, I know the boys over at Spider, and they're looking for a team manager, and I gave them your name, and you need to go meet up with them.
How
and
cool.
I was like, all right, and I went in, and they pretty much handed me the job, because of Lee.
Yeah.
Because of my boy Lee,
Nice.
Isn't that great? little,
Yeah.
little good old boy network.
Yeah, Lee Granger, just
Hooked you up.
great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
So you're the team manager for Spiderbuilt.
Yeah.
Who was on the team? Do you remember?
I couldn't even tell you, man. It's so long.
Was it like Greg Browning and?
No, because you know what's crazy?
They all
is
rode for board. But
They all had the
wetsuits.
board
Or,
sponsor, but they had their other clothing
Yeah.
sponsors.
Yeah.
Greg
You know
Browning
what I
rode
mean?
for Quicksilver.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a quickie, and then obviously the body glove
But-
after that.
Chatty Shabble was on the program.
That's it.
Shabble was, oh man, I can't even tell you, it's so long ago.
Yeah, I remember it. I remember the brand for sure, and I remember
Yeah.
seeing it, but I don't remember it like.
It didn't really blow
Take
up
off,
though,
yeah.
right?
Well, what
Spiderbuilt.
happened is the partners didn't work out.
Ah,
Yeah.
So we all know that story.
yeah.
So ended up breaking up after, I think I was there for another year.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was probably there a total year and a half probably. And then the partnership broke up.
Yep. So then, what was next after that?
I went to work with Dan Taylor, and a friend of mine started this company, Ambiguous. His name
Oh,
was
yeah.
Frank. And so I basically started working for Dan Taylor and Ambiguous at the same time.
Wow. So for those of you who don't know or don't remember, Dan Taylor is a shaper.
Yep.
Shapes
Yep.
amazing boards, and then Ambiguous was
Kind of a
Black.
lifestyle.
kind of like a
Yeah,
not really surf, but more like a street / surf. /
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely more
California hipster
Yeah.
kind of.
hard to
more
categorize
trendy.
as it.
Was it Chris Friel part of that too?
Well, yeah, way
Was he
later
there?
Chris came on as a
Okay.
rep.
Okay.
He was I believe the LA rep.
Okay.
But so basically, my run with Ambiguous was off and on over the years because between funding and no funding, I had a job, didn't have a job, had a job, didn't have a job, and then at one point I decided, okay, I'm going to do my own thing, and so I started a little one-man consulting deal, and I had Dan Taylor, Ambiguous, ProLite, and then I brought on, and then I was doing more of my wetsuits.
Wow.
So you
So-
started your own little like agency?
Yeah, I
So were
started
you
my.
repping too, or
I was repping, sales, everything. I was like running all over the state, the country, running around, getting sale, chasing sales, and like going, okay, hey, maybe I can do this, myself, right?
Yeah. Did you have money? Did you get
No money.
No money. Just
No.
said fucking bootstraps.
I just said, you know what, I'm gonna work out of my apartment and do this, and the companies I can go into their offices and work, and
Yeah.
I'd show up and kind of spread my time around.
So you were doing.
So ProLite was local.
Yes, ProLite was on Babcock right here,
Yeah.
and
Was it with Randy?
Spiderbuilt was on
Yeah.
and Spiderbuilt was on Babcock, and actually that's kind of how I got to know Randy at ProLite,
Okay.
because of that.
So what was your territory?
Different for different brands.
Yeah, different. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, well, ProLite I just did marketing.
Okay.
ProLite did marketing. Mormai I did sales and marketing. Dan Taylor I did sales and marketing. Ambiguous I did marketing.
And for sales and marketing, you kind of did you have a territory? You like with Mormai, right?
Yes.
Were you the main guy and you had reps, or were you the rep for Mormai?
Well, it's funny because after a little bit, I stayed with Dan, dropped the others, and I went to Mormai full time
Okay.
because it actually was growing and needed more.
Yeah.
Is that when the Potterots boys were on it? Like who wrote
Flavio and-
Flavio. And
Yeah,
and-
yeah, and Curran was on for a while.
Oh yeah.
And Kaipo Hakitas.
Sick.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put them on, but they were on at that program
Yeah.
at that time.
There was a good push in that brand. I remember for
Yeah,
sure.
I kind of remember too. So,
Yeah.
so you were doing Mormai and then Dan Taylor.
Yes. I was
And
doing
Dan
more of my
Taylor-
Dan Taylors.
So sales, same
Yeah.
thing.
I sold thousands of boards for Dan.
Yeah.
When I went up to Dan, a friend of mine, this guy John, introduced me to Dan, and he was like, dude, Dan's a great shaper. He just needs someone to help get it
Sell.
out there, right? And I was like, okay. And man, me and him became friends, I believe, pretty instantly. I mean, I still talk to him every other day today.
Nice.
You know? And so...
He had a showroom or shop, right?
Yep. Right here off Whittier Avenue.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And which was a trip because, like, being from Whittier, and I was working for Dan for so long, and it was Whittier Avenue, you know, right across from Whittier Elementary School right there. It was such a trip to me, and it's so funny because as a kid, you know, as a young man, I was like, I bounced around from where I lived so much that Dan's office was my home address for like probably 10, 15 years.
That's so epic.
Yeah, like all my mail went there, you know.
So talk about that really quick. You lived in Huntington.
Yeah.
And then were you living in Newport?
I lived in Huntington, and then I moved to Newport. I was in Newport, you know, hopped around Newport for a bit, went back to Huntington, and, you know, as a young man, you know, went back to Huntington. Then at some point I came back to Newport, you know, and then obviously as I got older, met my wife, had kids, and actually I'm back in Huntington now.
Okay. So going back, Mormai, Dan Taylor, then what happened?
Then me and the gentleman who had the license for Mormai, his name was Greg Light, man, he became my mentor.
Okay.
He became like he's a great friend of mine. I still consider him my really great friend. He's a guy I can call up out of nowhere and lay my questions and issues on, and I know he has the right answer for me.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's good.
And
That's a Vanderite for us.
Yeah, pretty much. For
yeah,
sure.
so basically so Greg, who had Mormai, you know, I don't know where I went. Somewhere in between that time when I left Mormai, I did something. I can't really remember at this time, but I was working somewhere. Oh, do you remember Octane boxers? They were Octane underwear.
Okay.
So we were
Sort of.
So we were actually the first company in the action sports to do
For underwear.
underwear.
Wow, okay.
And so, I mean, we hooked up everyone, and the boxers came in these bottles. You know, they were like in a bottle on this display, and I did that for a few years.
Who came up with Octane? Greg?
No.
Just
So Greg was still at Mormai. It was just this guy, Andy, and this guy, Christian, came up with Octane and hired me on to do sales and marketing.
okay.
And so with that, I hooked up back then so many people, put people on the program and gave away boxers and all stuff. And it was printed boxers. So like I could take a photo of anything and put it on a boxer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Stance does today, but Stance knew how to do it correctly.
Yeah.
You know?
You have no formal education.
I barely graduated high school.
Yeah. Because you
So-
ran away from home at 17 years old.
Yeah, my mom asked me, you know, my two brothers, you know, didn't graduate high school, and my mom, you know, one day begged me to
Get your GED or
please be the only son of mine to graduate, and I did, and I was living down here, hustling, going back and forth, doing whatever I had to do to make it, and I made it. I graduated legitimately.
But
So you went back to school.
I continued going to school, so I never stopped going to high
Okay.
school.
yeah.
And back then, I mean, the crazy thing is back then I would tell my teachers like, hey, I'm not going to be at school tomorrow, but if you give me my homework and mark me here, I'll be here the next day and I'll have all my homework done and everything, and they would do it.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, they would do it.
Yeah.
But you bounce around a lot, but at the same time, like that's work, you know, that's knowledge that you really couldn't get unless you threw yourselves into it. Like
No.
Yeah.
from the
And
surf shops to the Etnies gig to starting your agency to selling surf, you know, like you had a pretty good
Yeah.
education side to the business.
Yeah, I mean,
You went through the school of experience.
Yeah.
yes.
And you know, when you were talking about that, in my head I'm thinking, okay, he didn't go to school. He's marketing and he's sales, and you learned it by doing it.
Yes.
Right? And marketing is it's a cool job. Right?
It is.
And when you're talking marketing, you're dealing with magazines, you're dealing with
Absolutely.
events, you're dealing with
Yes.
other businesses, and to be able to get that knowledge,
Yeah.
and experience, and have it to where you're good at it. That takes fucking,
But it's relationships. Like back then, it was working with the magazines and trying to work out
Yes.
deals for ad space and stuff. So
Exactly.
once you had a relationship with the magazine salesman, it didn't matter
Yes.
where you're going. You're always going to hook up with like the same.
Yeah.
network.
It's your
Absolutely.
passion for it and your desire for it and your like
hustle.
hustle for it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know what? I this is what I feel like is kind of lacking with kids today is I didn't have anything to fall back on. So all I had was a hustle. All I had was show the owner, your boss, whoever, how hard you can work.
Mm-hmm.
And in return, hopefully they return the favor by growing you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what I hope for.
Doesn't always happen,
No.
but you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't
So-
always happen in one spot. You have to go somewhere else and work hard there, and then hopefully that happens.
Yeah.
there, right.
Well, and I learned so much, I mean, I don't know what company we left off at. Where was I? Octane. So I ended up leaving Octane because my boy from Mormai hit me up and said, dude, I'm, going to be president of this shoe company. I want you to come work for us. And I was like, all right, what is it? And he's like, it's called Emu Boots.
Oh,
and I
shit.
was like, okay, I never heard of that. What is it? And I looked at it and it was Ugg boots. And
Yeah,
I'm
Ugg
going,
A boot knockoff, but
Yeah.
I mean, not real. But
totally.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I'm like, dude, I can't do this. He's like, why? I'm like, it's not my thing, man. I've worked for core surfer skate companies. Like, I never worked for this kind of deal,
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you don't need to make a decision now. We have 6 months, but I want you to be the national sales manager. I want you to come on, and I was like, all right. Time went by. He hit me up over the 6 months. I wasn't sure. And one day he called me and he said, listen, we're going to have to hire someone if you don't take it. You know me. We're boys.
we're gonna make it work.
Let's make this happen. And I took the job.
Okay.
And so I started with Emu, and I was there for about 7 years.
Wow.
And when I started with Emu, no one would buy boots from us.
Yeah.
Ugg was just Ugg was around, but Emu had a price point, right? So basically, we kind of found a niche in the market of a price point boot. You'd buy an Ugg, it's $120.
Yeah.
Where Emu, you can sell it for $65.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be basically, it was suede with wool on the inside. So it's basically, we gave the sheep a haircut and put it on leather, you know what I mean, instead of the actual sheep, right?
Yeah.
Which what Uggs did. And so literally brought me on. We had no reps, nothing. I remember I called so many guys, like, dude, would
Surf
you...
shop owners and
Yeah,
people you
well,
know.
between surf shop owners and reps
Yeah.
and whatnot, I tried to get people on, and they're like, bro, I can't do that, man. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I've been with you on many things, but this is just one thing I can't. And I'm like,
what year was this? Early 2000s?
early 2000.
Yeah.
Actually, it was before, I mean, of course, we all know where we were for
2000,
9/11. So, I mean, it was it was probably a year before 9/11, 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I basically, went on the road, and I literally wrapped all of California. I'd fly back east, and I would go hit up accounts, and I figured once I can open accounts and actually hand a rep, hey, I got these guys, you can take it from here,
Mm-hmm.
That's basically how we grew it. So first 3 years were rough. It was hard. No one believed in it. No one knew it. But
Where was your office? Where was Emu?
It was in San Clemente.
Okay.
And I lived in Newport, so I drove to San Clemente every day from Newport.
Okay.
And so my boy Greg was like, dude, it's coming. Just wait. Like,
Same dude, Greg Light?
yes,
Okay.
Greg Light. My mentor. I call him my mentor. I talk to her.
And you pretty much had to rely on like the Surf Expo and ASR and those
Yes.
other shows to get like
to
a lot
get
of work done.
appointments and try to like, you know,
hype it.
make it go.
Yeah.
Hype it, you know. But the crazy thing is girls love them.
Yeah.
So where the niche came, where we ended up, you know, when we actually had some dollars to do some ads, you know, they were like, okay, dude, we need to...
Bikinis with the bikini and a...
Short skirts,
Yeah.
bikini top, and boots.
Yeah.
So the guys were like, okay, we need to come up with a campaign. And I'm like, hot chicks, boots, skirts. Come on, man. And they were like, let's do it.
Slam dunk.
Yeah. So then we started running ads of that, you know, and then it started going. It started getting pretty crazy.
So 3 years into it?
We were 3 years into it is when it started to finally turn.
Yeah.
You know? And
Gaining momentum, gaining
Yeah.
brand awareness, gaining more followers.
yeah, so literally started with Emu at 0 and we went to tens of millions by the time I left.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a great accomplishment.
And where are they
Thank
New
you. It was-
Zealand? Where
So
you moved
originally from Australia.
from? Australia. Okay.
Well, the gentleman who owned it was from Australia.
Okay.
We never went to Australia. I don't know. I mean, he said he had business there. It was always kind of like a gray area. Like,
Yeah.
is there business there? Don't know. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Where was the product coming from? Because you're importing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was being imported from China and
Okay.
wherever else. You know, the
Yeah.
factories were all there.
Yeah.
They were all in Asia. So
Nice.
it would come
So
over.
you grew it from 0 to tens of millions of dollars.
Tens of millions, yes.
And you were there for 7 years.
I was there for almost 8 years.
Yeah,
7,
almost 8
yeah,
years.
like, and then
Exclusively doing that.
exclusively.
Yeah.
Which I always did my boy Dan Taylor on the side. Like,
Yeah.
if I would go to trade shows or whatever,
Yeah.
and I'd see buyers be like, hey, can I get your DT order? You know what I mean? And I would still, you know,
Your bro.
yeah, still hook up boards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still sell them.
That's cool.
That's insane. So then, what happened with Emu? Did they get sold or?
You know what? It was time to leave. The owner pretty much started spending money everywhere else besides the business,
Yeah.
and we started having a shipping issue. We started having problems where we couldn't deliver, you know, and I always took pride in like, hey, being straight up with the customers and being truthful and whatnot. And after a year and a half of telling customers like, oh yeah, your boots are coming, they're coming, and I'm hearing from my like
Yeah.
guy going, dude, we don't have nothing on the boats, like nothing's coming, the owner hasn't paid the factory, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it was time to
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah. Jump ship
Is it-
before
Yeah.
it sinks.
Because your word is your reputation.
Absolutely,
And,
you know.
You don't want to have a brand drag you down and have not have any equity.
Yeah.
We can take a pause.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I got pissed, dude. I had a guayak.
And we're back.
All
So-
right.
So you found yourself at a point where you couldn't let a brand
Take you down.
take you down. So
Yes.
Did you have?
were you already starting to reach out to people, or
Yeah. Did you
No.
have other options?
No, actually, for the first time, I told myself I was going to take a break.
You had some money saved.
I had some money
been making
saved.
Some money.
Yep, it was actually the first job that I actually made some real money.
Nice.
You know, I mean, not alone, obviously I got a great salary, but I got, you know,
Bonuses.
percentages of sales
Yeah.
overall,
Yeah.
you know? And so, yeah, it was the first time I was like, cool, I got money in the bank, and
No
dude, I'm
rush.
going to surf these next 6 months.
So going back as you're starting to have success with Emu, because that's pretty much the biggest company,
Yes,
the best job you've had so far. Right?
yes, absolutely.
And not having a college education,
Yep,
you know, finishing high school for your mom,
yep.
right? It's a good feeling, right? Like,
Yes.
do you remember like certain times where you're like, "Fuck, man, I'm kind of killing it."
Yeah.
You know, like not to be like arrogant or pompous or anything, but like,
It's finally paid off. All the hard
Yes.
work and the years of bouncing around and getting that knowledge. You're
How-
finally
yeah.
like.
how was that like conversations with your mom and dad? Like,
Well,
I'm sure they were like super psyched and proud.
Were.
You know,
my
like,
parents were really proud. I was stoked to be able to like do things for my families. You know, my family, my parents, my brothers, sisters.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was actually like, cool. I got cash and I can like help out with whatever anyone needed, and I can go surf my brains out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that was it. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I like to point that out because it's like, you know,
Yeah.
being a boy from fucking Whittier,
Yeah.
leaving your house at
absolutely.
17, you know, like getting to a point where, oh shit, I'm a single successful guy.
Yeah.
But at that point too, like you've been in the industry long enough by then, you know, probably a course of
Absolutely.
10 years, 7,
Absolutely,
8
yeah.
with EMU, that you now
Yeah.
have the relationships with the shops.
Yeah.
You pretty much know the account base.
Got the network.
You
Yeah.
got the network. You know the magazine people. You know other friends and other peers in
Absolutely.
the industry at other brands. And it's just a
Yeah.
matter of like, you know what? Take a little time off, something will pop up.
Yes.
So then, boom, you're gonna take a break.
I took a break, and
Is,
so go ahead.
I was just going to say, does this break include like going on a really good surf trip?
I mean, Mexico. I was all over Mexico.
Nice.
You know, Baja.
We like to hear surf trip.
I would take off. I was, you know, I was in Cabo for 3 months. I mean, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Just work my way all the way down Scorpion Bay. I just love the desert surf trips. You know,
Yeah.
like middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, even though the water was still freezing and
Driving
Baja.
down.
Yeah.
Driving down. with a
Yeah.
couple
Oh
buddies.
yeah. I did it so many times, you know. But I mean, crazy thing is though, when I was 16 years old, I bought a house in Mexico.
What?
Yeah. So
Wait.
What?
How?
it's so funny, but actually, a friend of mine in Whittier, his friend was a little older, and his friend and another friend built a house on the north side of Los Rocas Hotel, like right by
Yeah.
K38.
Yeah.
You know, Teresa's, the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the guys, you know, my buddy's friend of a friend, whatever, wanted
Did they
to...
surf?
Yeah, they
Okay.
surfed. You know, so I, you know, it was funny. It was like when I was younger, you know, at 12, 13 years old, I'm hanging out with these older guys, and they were more from like the Malibu area, and they loved to charge. They were chargers. Like, you know, they wanted to charge when there was a swell. It was like, dude, we're going to Mex. You coming or not? You know, and of course I'm going.
What do you mean older, like 18, 20, or like...
No, like 30s. They
Wow.
were in their 30s.
So they had the program dialed. These
They-
guys were like
yes.
seasoned. They knew
Yes.
when and where.
They had it dialed.
Yeah.
They were seasoned. I mean, we would, you know, I would be with them. We'd grab boats out of Ensenada, go out to Todos, like all kinds of stuff. And talking about Todos, I'll never forget the day I saw Brock Little and Mark Fu out there. I didn't even get off the boat.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah. When those guys show up, you know it's
Yeah.
like...
Well,
I
we
just
showed
watched.
up. They were the only ones out, and it was macking.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get off the boat. But, anyways, yeah, so one of the guys had, you know, these two guys were partners in on a house, and one of the guys wanted to sell it, and I was like, dude, you can't sell it. You got to keep it in the family.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll buy it. How much do you want? And he's like, I want $8,000, dude, and you have no money. I'm like, and I told him, I go, dude, if I paid you $1,000 a month, would you sell it to me? And he said yes. So I started mowing yards. I mowed people's lawns, and
Dude, we're talking fucking serial entrepreneur over
I
here.
love it. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it takes. You want a pad in Mexico,
Yeah.
$8,000 is like, I mean, that's probably huge
At
money.
16
at the
years old.
yeah,
time.
it was huge money.
But in the
$1,000
grand
a month
schemes-
now is fucking huge money.
Yeah. But I mean, dude, $8,000, $1,000 a month, 8 months
Yeah.
of mowing yards and whatever side job I can do here and there.
Shit hits a fan, I can just go stay at my
Yeah.
house in Mex.
And I literally, at 16 years old, had a house in Mexico.
That's awesome.
It was the funnest. I mean, from 16 to my late 20s, it was just out of control. I mean, you know, and the cool thing is that, like, one of my other little side hustles was a lot of the brands, if they wanted to do photo trips, you know, I'd say, okay, cool, like, let's do, you know, we go down to my house, you could bring up to 7 guys, you know, it's gonna be what I charge. I think I charged like $300 for a week, and you paid for my food and beer.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, deal. And so we would go.
So
and
you're
do photo
hustling
shoots.
all the other brands on like doing little photo trips.
Yeah,
down
little
there.
trips.
Isn't
to my
that called
pad.
Airbnb?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Vacation rental right there.
It was Air J and B.
That's right, dude. And it was the best time ever. Many guys went, and it was good.
My brother and Seth Matson had a place at the backside of K38, K37 and a half.
Yeah.
In the little
Vander had a spot
Yeah,
there too.
it was.
Okay, so you know what's really
Bunch of
funny?
spots.
Me and Vander go all the way back to his spot, which was on the cliff right there at Teresa's.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I was on the north side of Los Orcos Hotel. So I'd actually go down there and see Scott, and he had a partner, this guy Sven,
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
And I would see them, and we would hang, we'd go out and party. And I mean, I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, so I actually met Scott from Mexico
At
as
Before
a
you do it
kid.
here.
17, 16, 17
Yes.
years old. That's so funny.
Yes. Which is really funny. And actually, not too long ago, me and Scott talked about it up in Pismo Beach at an event. We were talking about Mexico.
Yeah.
He loves
Yeah.
it down there. Yeah, he would go down quite a bit. Too.
Yeah.
So going back, you take a break.
Did some traveling to Mex.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Were you married at the time?
No,
No.
but I met my wife at Emu.
okay.
So, you know, it's pretty funny. You know, I was working at Emu. I met her actually probably the last 2 years I was there. And she got a job as customer service. And, you know, I was the national head of sales and marketing. So I was gone. I was traveling 8 months out of the year. You know, between U.S., Canada, and wherever else the hell I had to go. You know, I was all over the place. So I actually, when they hired my wife, you know, I met her over the phone.
Yeah.
Introduced myself. Hey, when I call, I'm going to need these reports.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to need this, this, and this, and she'd give it to me. You know, and then when I showed up, I met her, and I was like,
Oh.
oh wow, she's the cutest girl in the office. But my boy Greg had a rule. DFTH. Don't F the help. So I could do whatever I wanted, but just don't, you know.
DFTH.
Yes, there you go. So, funny is probably...
That's why you quit.
Yeah, I'm out of here. The things chicks make you do, man.
Which is hilarious, right? Yeah, but you know what's funny is we were friends at first for about a year and a half from when I met her. And then it was funny, actually, one day I went down to San Diego. I was going to go on the road with my San Diego rep. And so I came down there the night before, got a hotel. We were supposed to meet, have dinner, and like kind of go over our plan of attack for the next day. Because, you know, we had San Diego. We had like
Bunch of appointments.
a bunch
and
of,
people.
a bunch of appointments, people to see. And he flaked on me. He was like, dude, I got some issues going on at home. Can we just meet in the morning? I was like, yeah, no worries.
But you're fucking fired.
Yeah. I was cool. I was like, I get it, no worries.
All right.
You know?
One strike, bro.
Yeah. So anyways, I called, you know, Tiana, which is my wife. I called her because actually, like, you know, her and her roommates always wanted to get into the trade shows and everything, and I'd always, you know, hook them up. Anyone in staff, I'd always like, yeah, what friends do you want? Put them on the list, you know, whatever. So, you know, I already knew her roommates and friends, a few of her friends. So anyways, I was like, you know what? I'll call her. She lives in Leucadia. I'll call her and see if her and her friends want to go to dinner.
Yeah.
You know, so I called her. Hey, I'm in town. Scott just flaked on me. You and your girls want to go to dinner? It's on the house. Like,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
she was like, yeah, let's go. Anyways, long story short, I don't know how I remember it. One at a time, one of her girls dipped out, you know, and me and her were hanging. And,
You know that's strategic, by the way.
yeah, right. I always thought it was.
I gotta go.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, you know, she just leaned over and put one on me. You know, I was like, oh man. I remember I tripped out because I was like, dude, I can't even go there. Like, I will lose my job. Like, my boy Greg told me straight up, DFTH, bro. Don't even go there. Don't you ever think of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so anyways, we had a hidden relationship for a year.
Wow.
Why we worked there.
At least social media wasn't really blowing up back then.
There was
you didn't
no
really-
social media.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
didn't really have to work.
So we had
That's
like
a long time to keep something
It
under
was.
wraps.
It was, man. It was hard, but we kept it under wraps.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So basically, that's how I met my wife, and then
That was during the time.
the
you're phasing out.
transition. Yeah. And so I was transitioning from a work every day of the week to wow, I don't gotta work anymore. I'm taking a break. This is nice. And then I told myself, okay, 6 months into it, I'll start looking for another job. And then I ended up getting a job with Beshan at Monument Clothing. So Shane Beshan.
Yeah.
So I came on to Monument and took a job over there.
How did that connection happen? Just surfing, San Clemente, or what?
You know what? I don't know how I got the job, to be honest. I just remember I went in for an interview and I was like, cool, if I get it, right on. But I still wasn't in the mindset of like, I'm going to work every day again.
Yeah.
Because I just had so many months off, you know? And so I remember I got the call, like, yeah. And then Shane called me, dude, you're in, like,
Were you psyched on because the brand was new to like
yes.
start at ground zero and
Yes.
like rebuild.
I
and
was,
like that's
You're pioneering another
Yeah.
yeah.
Obviously I took a major pay cut, but I was like, you know what? This is so cool. Like you go in the warehouse, there's half pipes. It's fun again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was the ground up. And I was like, okay, I've been a fan of Beshan my whole life.
Yeah,
Obviously, being from California, I'm like, dude, Beshan's the man. And I was like, man, this is going to be killer working for Beshan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so took the job and had a blast. I had a couple years. It was such a good ride and sales were growing. I actually remember battling Ruka. Like I remember at the time Ruka was having like shipping issues, so I'd be like, hey, you're not getting your Ruka gear, so why don't you buy some more Monument? You know what I mean? And we're just obviously playing the game,
I think
hustling.
HSS carried Monument, right?
Yeah, I think it was in a lot of shops for sure.
Yeah.
But that was in San Clemente too, so you had to drive.
No, that was right here in Costa
here?
Mesa. Yeah,
Ooh.
right here off of Monrovia.
Wow.
Was it Monrovia? No, it was off Whittier again. It was off Whittier Avenue.
You couldn't get away from Whittier.
Yeah,
right?
I couldn't, dude. It was a sign, man. It was a sign.
So how long did you do that for?
Did that for a couple years, and then, unfortunately, Shane's partner,
Pulled out?
he was pulling money out,
Mm.
kind of like, screwed over the business, and
Sucks.
and it went away. And then Shane worked a deal with, Shane worked a deal with the guys at Tavik. So Shane was like, hey dude, do you remember Tavik?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Shane was
Eric
like,
Paulson.
yes.
Yeah.
So Shane was like, dude, I'm talking to these guys over at Tavik. Would you be willing to jump over and come over there, whatever. And I was like, dude, let's do it. So I was
you
over
went to
there.
Tavik?
Yes.
Okay.
So I went to Tavik. I was there for 6 months. And then I decided.
Long time.
Yeah. Well, and then at this point, the market crashed.
Oh. So we're talking 2008.
So this is 2008, the end of 08 now. The market crashed. And, unfortunately, I obviously couldn't blame Tavik, but
Yeah.
I'd get like one check a month, 1 month no check,
Yeah.
1 month a check. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Gotta make ends meet, and this is
yeah.
not working out.
And I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, okay, I've been doing this for quite some time now, and what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you already
Like
get
a-
married? Were you
I
already
was
married?
married.
Okay.
Yes, I was married
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
to
So
hit a
you needed.
reset.
Yeah.
Yep. I was
Was
married
she
at
still
the time.
working at Emu or?
No, she was gone. She left Emu and she was actually working for Howe. Do you remember Howe?
Yeah.
Jeans.
Yep. So she was at Howe
Jade?
for, Jade.
Jade.
Yeah. So she was at Howe for, I don't know. She was there for a few years, and market crash. She got laid off along with my office manager here. He worked at Howe as well, and he got laid off at the same time. But anyways, so I was like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And quite honestly, when I was about 21 years old, I got introduced to acai from my neighbors when I lived on Colton Street in Newport Beach, down by the river.
Not more my.
No. Yeah, right? Not Mormai. Exactly, which is the Brazilian company.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these neighbors of mine actually were, bringing acai in from Brazil. And they had, white freezer chests in their garage. And they were kind of like slinging acai. And one day they just hit me up, dude, you ever had an acai bowl? And I was like, no, what is that? They're like, dude, it's this purple berry. It's so good. And actually they made me one and I was hooked. So from 20 to 21 years old, all the way through, I actually made bowls and smoothies myself. And for instance, when I worked at Monument, I would bring bowls and smoothies to work and hook up a couple of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, here, have a smoothie. I made you a smoothie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just was really into it. I loved like eating a bowl after I surfed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so refreshing, and it's kind of like it's real food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's real like healthy and it's nature.
Yeah.
So I felt like my body just like
Felt better.
sucked it in,
Yeah.
I just felt like I just took it in.
So, what year was that? 2009?
That
2008?
was that. So in 2008, I was thinking of what am I going to do, right?
Right.
So we got through 2008. In 2009, market's still really bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, and I was like, what am I going to do? So I actually started making different bowls in my kitchen at home. And I was like,
Did you own your own house at this time or?
No. I just bought my first home.
Just now, recently?
Just recently.
Okay.
Almost a year ago, I just bought my first house I ever owned.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Nice.
So go back.
NHB.
That's right. You're making acai bowls.
Yeah. So anyways, I, started inviting, I was like, what if I open a business making bowls?
Yeah.
Who's doing bowls? Is there anyone doing it? And
was there anybody doing it?
But everybody you've given those to over the years is just like flat out like, can you bring me another one? They're freaking out.
Yes.
Was there anybody doing it already?
No.
Okay.
Well, so when I first started, so in the beginning of 2009, why I was thinking of like, thinking of just an idea of doing bowls, mothers started making one bowl. And then, I researched everywhere. The only other place that had a smoothie, but they put yogurt in it, was El Cap, right by Jack in the Box on the corner of Balboa and PCH.
Okay. Smoothie with acai.
Yeah, so they did like an acai smoothie, but they put yogurt and stuff in it. Yeah. And I was like, dude, this is horrible because you just want the acai. You don't want the dairy. You know what I mean? And so you don't want fillers, And so anyways, I started making bowls at home and inviting friends over for dinner. I didn't tell my wife what I was doing. I was inviting friends and, hey, try this, try that. And sure enough, I was like, okay, I have a plan. Like, no one's ever opened a place doing bowls. Like, there's nowhere. Even smoothies, there's like nowhere really even doing any acai smoothies or anything. Yeah. So that being said, I was broke. I had no money. I remember I actually had 20 grand in the bank, exactly 20 G's. My wife didn't have any money, we're barely paying our bills at the time. And my oldest sister called me and said, hey, why don't you guys come camping with us up in Big Sur? And I was like, well, I don't have no money. We're broke. My sister was like, Joe, just get up here. I'll pay your gas when you get here. We got all the food. We got all the camping. And so I was like, cool. Told my wife, hey, let's go to Big Sur. What can we lose? My sister
was it a holiday or a family gathering or just camping?
No, it was just camping. They were up there for a handful of days and invited us. And I was like, what are we gonna do? We're doing nothing now, and we have no money. And she's like, gonna throw me some money for gas, and you
had money, but it was all going towards bills, and you figured you had a couple months left. Like you can't spend luxury on anything. It's just chipping away at the savings.
Yes, exactly. So I was chipping away at my savings like crazy, had 20 grand left, and I told myself, okay, when I hit the 101 freeway, I'm going to tell my wife, like, the idea I have.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're brewing in your head.
It was brewing in my head for a few weeks, maybe even a couple months.
And you had no job.
I was still at Tavik.
Okay. You're still a traffic. Okay.
Barely, like, hanging on, like,
Yeah.
I wasn't,
Yeah,
sure.
How do I get out of this?
Yes,
I got a plan.
exactly.
I got a plan.
Yeah. So a few days later, we drove up to Big Sur, and as soon as I hit the 101 freeway, I told my wife, hey, I got an idea. She's like, what's the idea? I said, what if we opened a place just doing bowls? I mean, I make all these different bowls,
People love it.
you see how I've been inviting everyone over? People love it. Like, what do you think? And she's like, Joe, we have no money. And I'm
That's kind of like the most important thing of starting a business.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what about
Exactly.
the idea, honey?
I know. And I told her, she's like, we have no money. And I go, I know, but we'll figure it out,
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know about that. And so then we get camping. And by the end of the camping trip,
She's on board.
she's on board.
Yeah.
My sister was like, you know what, Joe? Like, I know you're a hard worker. I don't know how you're going to get the funds, but like, hey, we believe in you if you want to do it.
Did you even research?
Does she have money?
Who?
Your sister?
No. I didn't get no money from her.
Okay.
But did you have any idea what it would cost to open a store? Have you done research?
So it's so funny. I mean, I couldn't like research bowl shops because there were none.
Yeah.
So I researched like, okay, I'm going to go to Mother's Market and see how many smoothies they sell a day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to,
Jams?
No. I went to Jamba Juice and I was like, went in there, man, how many smoothies do you sell a day? This is so good. I just kind of played dumb. And
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we sell like 100, 200 smoothies a day. I'm like, oh, cool, okay. So I kind of started putting numbers together and I was like, okay, well, if we can do like 200 smoothies a day, I mean, we should be doing good,
Yeah.
And we can make it,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what's it going to cost to open a store? Well, at the time, I thought 60 grand.
Yeah.
I thought the number was like 60. I needed 60 grand, and I had 20 saved.
You pay a lease up front, which is most of it.
Yep.
And then the equipment is.
Oh, the equipment.
Is
You got to have all the equipment. You got to have everything,
It's
which is a
expensive.
lot. Yeah. And so, anyways, by the end of the trip, my wife was like, okay, all right, I don't know how we're going to do this, but okay, I'm in,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. So we start driving home, and I don't know, somewhere between Morro Bay and Santa Barbara, we were like, my wife was like, well,
What are we gonna call it?
what are we going to name it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a good question. We need to come up with a name.
Yeah.
So we started throwing out all these different names.
So, inspiration, the bowl.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So the
Yeah.
inspiration was it has to be something bowl, And I told my wife, like, hey, if we open this cafe, I'm going to I don't want to just be like this cafe.
Yeah.
I want to brand it. I want to be involved in the board sport market, which I love. And that's all I came from,
Yeah.
And I said, I want to get back into that. And I want to,
Yeah.
I want to do that, and
Plus, it probably felt like
Yeah.
I'm a surfer.
target
This is what I
consumer.
want, and I feel like if I want this after surfing, it'd probably be really
Yeah.
easy.
Because you already
Yes.
know your friends are into it.
Yeah.
Totally.
You're targeting yourself and your friends.
yes,
Yeah,
that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I invited all friends over, and I was like, well, I love it,
Yeah.
and my friends love it,
Yeah.
so...
Hey, we love it.
We love
yeah, all
I
right.
mean, it's
We got to ink a deal today.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
yeah.
I got you guys covered. I got you covered.
Hey, I eat one and I'm like happily
Dude.
filled and content, but then I'm like, I could eat a fucking another one right now.
Yeah.
No joke.
Do you eat a large or small?
Large, and I could probably eat another one right
Dude.
after.
Oh
Look at
my
this guy.
gosh.
Yeah. It's.
I eat a small, and I'm like,
I
good.
go to the Board Riders Club contest just to have those things.
Yeah, I like it, dude.
My
You can
kid-
get as many as you want, too.
My kid ate 7 one day at one of those.
I believe it. I completely
I'm on no more,
Right.
you guys.
All right,
No
hold
more.
on.
I
We got to go
believe
back
that.
to the story.
Okay.
So you're thinking of a name.
Yeah, so we're driving home, and...
Did you have names already? that you're pitching?
No, I
No.
never even thought of a name in the beginning because all I was thinking was
Your wife's got.
I gotta get my wife on board.
Yeah.
So I gotta like really plan like the strategic attack of how am I gonna convince her.
Yeah.
You know. And so, anyways, on the drive home, we were naming all these different names, and she said, "Well, what if we call it Bonsai Bowls, like the Bonsai Pipeline where I grew up?" Because my wife is born and raised on the North Shore.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wow."
I fucking love you!
Yes.
Click, click, click,
I
click.
literally, dude, as it rolled off her tongue, I was like,
Yes.
yes.
That's so.
I'm all, that's it. That's the name.
So your wife came up with a name.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
So awesome.
Because, she knew my plan was to be involved in board sports.
Yeah.
So she was like, well, since you want to be a part of surf and skate, like, why don't we call it Bonsai Bowls, like the Bonsai Pipeline?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the best name ever.
Wow.
And
it's catchy too. Like bonsai, like obviously has the surf affiliation that you're looking for, but it's
perfect.
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect. Like,
Well, and the other thing is this, like being a skater, actually in the 70s, there was a company called Banzai Skateboards. And actually in my warehouse, I have some
skating a bowl.
I have some of the old, I have some old bonsai skate decks.
Yeah.
And they used to bonsai the bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what they did. So in my head, I was like, oh my gosh.
Everything's coming
It's
together.
Perfect. What a
Now all
perfect
we need
name.
is $60,000.
Yeah.
and a place.
And now I'm thinking, okay, you know what? Perfect. All we need is the money, right? So basically, we got home, and my wife's like, well, how are we going to get the money? I said, we're going to go to the bank. I'm going to go to the bank, and I'm going to borrow money. I mean, when I was doing good, they took my money, so why wouldn't they loan me $50,000? I just wanted 50. I had 20.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Did you
Business.
have? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you drop a business plan?
No. Never.
Wow.
Never.
And you pulled it off.
Nope.
The bank says, "Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out."
Exactly.
So you and your wife, or just you?
Me and my wife.
Okay. Go to the bank.
We go to the bank.
Who's your bank?
Union Bank right down the street, right here.
Placentia and
Placentia and Superior.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you go in there.
I've been banking with them from my Etnies days. Okay, so I know everyone in the branch.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, I walk up to
You
the
didn't go
branch
in there with
manager.
anything.
No, I had no business plan.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, the business plan was in my head.
Yeah.
I saw the picture. I was just gonna go preach it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I walked into the bank and I talked to the lady and I was like, hey. She's like, hey, Joe, how you doing? I go, well, I'm glad you're here today. I wanted to talk to you about something that I want to do. She's like, okay, let's go to my office. Sat down and I told her, this is my idea. I want to open a cafe and I need a loan for $50,000. And she's like, okay. I go, so can I get a loan? She's like, so what is it you want to do?
Where's your collateral? What's
Yeah,
your assets looking
totally,
like? And
right?
how much are you from?
Yeah, and I was like, listen, I've given this bank everything I've ever had.
Hey,
So I just want $50,000.
Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my God.
How naive I was. So she was like, okay, well, let's fill out the paperwork and we'll run your name. Boom. Like literally in 30 minutes, I was denied.
How was your? I mean, you don't have to tell us. Was your credit good at all?
I always have good credit.
Okay, so
Like,
but that helps. But
yes.
Yeah.
But, the funny thing is that I've learned a lot about credit, right?
Yeah.
So you can have a good credit score, but it doesn't mean you can borrow a lot.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
So the funny thing is that, so I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll be back. Let me kind of put it together a little more. So I left and I was a little baffled. Like, wow, I mean.
Yeah, I've been a great customer of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
I was like, she totally.
this is a great idea.
Did she give you any guidance, like as far as like,
None.
hey, this is what, come back with this, this, and this, and get some, like nothing.
Nothing.
So you left with like.
I left like just.
Tail between your legs.
Blank space. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know what happened, but I was like, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
So we left, and my wife was like, well, I don't know.
And you didn't want to hit up family or friends or anybody. You just like.
You know what? I don't come from money.
Yeah.
And no one in my family, I don't know anyone with money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I never knew anyone with money. And And I was always,
Should have called me.
hustling and,
Greg?
and
Think about Greg or ask Greg.
no, you know what? He's a
You wanted to
family
do it
man
yourself.
and he has his thing going on,
Yeah.
you
You wanted to do it yourself.
Yes.
And you didn't want to probably burden anybody else if it didn't work out, or just like, hey, this is my idea, I'm gonna do it myself. Whatever.
Exactly.
It takes.
So I left there and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go back tomorrow. I just need to kind of probably reword this and figure it out. So I went back the next day, brought my wife with me, walked in, and it was so funny. I'll never forget her face, the manager, when she saw me. She kind of big-eyed walked in. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I just wanted to see if we can run my name again, for a loan. I just want to borrow $50,000. She's like, okay, yeah. Okay, well, run it again. Ran it again. Seriously, in 10 minutes, I was denied. It was even faster this time.
Yeah.
And so I actually asked her, I remember, I don't want to say the bank manager's name because she's a sweetheart, but
Yeah.
I was like, why are they denying me? I don't understand. I've been so good to this bank, and she's like, it's just hard to get a loan, this and that. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
It was a really tough time, though. It's
Yeah.
2009.
Yes.
They weren't handing out money.
So I left, okay, I'm coming back tomorrow. I can't believe she denied me, and I left this time. I told my wife, man, we're going back in tomorrow. My wife at this point is like, oh no, I'm over it. I don't
She's
want to go back.
defeated.
Yeah. And
You're
so
thinking third time's the charm.
yes. And so I told her, I was like, third time's a charm, dude. I'm going back in. I high-five everyone in there. What's up? How you doing? Oh, hey. Talk to the branch manager, And I walked in, and she goes, Joe, come to my office. I want to talk to you. I'm like, what's up? Can give me a loan? She's like, no. She's all, no. I don't know if you noticed, but the market crashed, and not a single bank is loaning money to anyone.
Yeah.
You can't even get a car loan through the bank right now. So I hate to tell you this, but I really like you. I've known you for a long time, but the bank is not going to loan you any money. Oh man, I just about lost it. I stood up. What the hell? You're not loaning me any money? And I started kind of going off,
Yeah.
and my wife grabbed me and was like, we need to go, time to leave. And I was not having it. I was pissed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I need a break to go pee again.
So third time wasn't the charm, right?
Third time was not the charm. So I pretty much lost it, started kind of getting vulgar in the bank. And my wife was like, we're out of here. And was dragged me out of the bank.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wow.
In disbelief. How?
Yeah.
You're
it sounds so good in my head. Why would they,
Exactly.
rephrase
Take
it?
my money out of here. Get my money out of
Yeah.
here.
That is the truth.
Did you pull that line?
I did not.
Oh.
Years
That's right.
like-
Cash me out.
Actually, though, the funny thing is that, just to fast forward real quick, about 4 or 5 years into my business, I told them if they don't hook me up with a better rate and all this other stuff, I'm pulling all my accounts. So, of course, I got what I wanted at that point.
Yeah.
Things change.
That's called leverage.
Yes. Exactly, right?
I don't like the way you guys are treating me. And
Yeah.
I do deserve
That
an
is
extra
called leverage.
Right?
That's called
So,
the
that's how-
shoe is on the other foot now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
So-
walk away.
Anyways, we walk outside. I'm feeling like I'm pissed at this point. And my wife, she was like, well, there you have it, Joe. We're not going to be opening a place. We can't get any money.
At this time, but you still okay.
But I still was like, and to be honest, I told her straight up, she goes, well, there's your answer. We're not going to be able to do this. And I
It's
said,
a
nope.
sign.
I'll go mow lawns. I'll sell my
Yeah.
Mexico place.
Right? I was like, no, we're going to do it. And she goes, how? We have no money. We have nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I go, you know what? And this is where I go soft on you.
I love it.
I told her straight up, I go, well, all we can do now is pray. We have nothing.
Nothing soft about praying.
Yeah. But I said, all we can do now is pray. I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to pray. I was at my wit's end. I didn't know what I was going to do. You got to remember, my money was burning up fast. We were barely making it. And you know what? I was like, Lord, I'm going to give this to you. I'm giving this to you, God. I can't do this. It's not going to happen through me.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're just going to pray about it.
That's when he works.
Yeah. And next thing you know, we, a couple days later, I was driving on, Irvine and 17th. I was like on the corner and I saw a for rent sign. And I called my wife, hey, take this number down. I was still at Tavik at this time, And I was like, hey, take this number down and call the guy and see if we can look at the spot. And she goes, where is it? I'm like, it's on the corner of Irvine and 17th Street, and Newport Harbor is like a block away.
Great location.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's like, wait.
Yeah.
We have no money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What am I taking the number for?
Why are you trying to go get the most expensive rent space like on the boulevard here?
It's so funny because she's like, she just, she loves me, but
she's the voice of reason.
Yes, she absolutely is. And, I'm the crazy one with all the ideas and let's go. But, the way I grew up was, my mom always told me, Joe, if you have a good name, my mom actually used to tell me, she told me this growing up, it's better to have a good name than great riches. If you have a good name, you work hard and you treat people good, they'll want to do things for you.
Yeah.
And then you can grow that way.
Yeah.
You don't need to have all this money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was always willing to put my true self out there and give 100% on everything.
Yeah.
And when it came to this, I gave everything I could do, But I saw this place for rent, and my wife called the guy, and he said, okay, cool, I'll meet you across the street at Starbucks. So we went across the street at Starbucks, and he's like, hey, so what's your names? The whole shake up, right? He goes, okay, so what do you guys want to do? And I said, well, we want to open an acai bowl shop. And he's like, okay, what is that? And, I had pictures on my phone of ones I made at home.
Is this a leasing agent or owner of the building?
Owner.
Owner of the building.
And I go, here's what I want to do. Here's a picture. And he saw I was like scrolling through pictures on my phone. I think it was like my BlackBerry, which had horrible pictures. But I'm like scrolling through pictures, and he's like, wow.
That looks tasty.
That looks really good. How many places do this? And I said, that's the great thing, man. Nobody will be the first. And he tells me, that's not good. Straight up.
Because he has nothing to compare off of.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got no.
So,
because I would ask you next is like, well, what do these businesses do?
Did your
and
jaw and face just drop?
Yeah, my face dropped and I got pissed instantly. I was like, no. Are you serious, dude? Like, you don't see this? I'm thinking like...
You're all hyped and then you're like, nah.
Yeah. I was fired up. I'm like, well, what do you mean it's not a good idea? We'll be the first to do it. And he told me straight up, listen, I want a proven concept in here.
Yeah.
Do you want to do pizza or burgers? I mean, I'm willing to work with you on pizza and burgers. And I said, no, I don't want to do pizza and burgers. I want to do bowls, bro. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And he goes,
Bonsai Bowls.
Yeah. And so he goes, then he tells me, okay, well, what's your finances look like?
Don't worry, your check will be paid at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Hey, 4 times the charm, bro.
Yeah. So he literally asked me, like, so what's your finances look like? And I go, well, I have 20 grand. And he goes, tell me you have more than 20 grand, right? And I go, well, I mean, I have 20 grand cash, but I'm working on it with the bank right now after I've been denied 3 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like, okay. Well, when you figure it out with the bank and getting, your finances in order, give me a call. And we walked away, and I was like, you know what? Me and my wife looked at each other, and I go, we're not taking that. We're not taking that. You know what? We're going to pray about this. We're going to pray again, and we're going to keep praying. Lord, if it's meant to be, put it in his heart to show us grace, to show us mercy, to show us, like...
Are you a religious person?
I was born and raised in a Christian home.
Okay.
Now, did I stray quite a bit? I did.
Yeah.
But
innately you're
yes.
a man of God.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tenfold. So, because actually growing up through, as a young man all the way even to this day, I mean, I always believed and I always said, Lord, whatever you got to do, I mean, I'm just going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, again, I didn't have a college.
Yeah.
I didn't have a, trade that I, did. You know what I
You
mean?
didn't do an internship on opening a restaurant business.
Yeah.
Like you were just.
I never even worked in a
Wouldn't-
restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never worked in a restaurant.
So
I tell my wife, you know what, we're going to pray about it. We're going to pray about it, give it to the Lord. If it's meant to be, Lord, put it in his heart to want to open the door for us, And we walked away, and she was like, well, that didn't go too good. I'm like, no, it didn't. But you know what? Hey, let's keep trying,
Keep trying.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if I tried to get money again from the bank or whatnot, but, I just kept praying and we prayed, breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? Like, prayed, Lord, if it's meant to be, put it on his heart, open the door for us. So I woke up 2 to 3 days after the meeting with him, and I felt this, like, heavy thing on my chest, like, dude, you need to call this guy right now. Call this guy.
Yeah.
Call the guy, and
And you haven't talked since that meeting.
I haven't talked to him since the one meeting where he said
So
no.
you're like, he could have been, space could have been taken already.
Yeah.
You have no
Well,
idea.
yeah. So, anyways, I called him up and I said, hey, I was wondering if we could meet up again. I go,
I'm bringing you a bowl.
I really want to talk to you about this spot, and he asked me he told me over the phone, well, has anything changed with your finances? And I said, no, but I was hoping we can still meet. And he said, okay, well, all right, meet me tomorrow in the morning, right? And so we met him the next morning, and I go, listen, dude, like, you have this spot right here. I can't even see in the windows because the windows were covered. You couldn't see in. I go, but for all I know, it's been empty for like 2 years. And he goes, more like over 3 years. And I was like, well, there you go. It's been empty for 3 years, and you got like 2-3 other empty units. I go, listen, hasn't someone ever given you a chance?
wow.
I go,
Nice.
someone gave you a chance somewhere along the line, right? Because you've probably had many jobs before you got into what you're into now. I go, well, just like when I've had jobs and people gave me a chance, I'm asking you give me a chance. Give us a chance to to do this.
Yeah, we're risking everything, and we're just asking you to believe in us a little
Yeah.
bit. Like,
And we had literally 20 grand to our name, and that was it. Like, I didn't have any money. I couldn't go to my parents and ask for money. They didn't have money. I didn't grow up with money. You know what I mean? Like, and so, anyways, he was like, you know what? Let me think about it. So we walked away. We left. We prayed, Lord, if it's meant to be, put it on his heart to open the door for us, to want to give us an opportunity, And he called us the next day and said, hey, how about this? I haven't even shown you guys the place yet. Why don't you look at it first? It may not even work out for you. So let's just look at the spot, and you can tell me what you think at that point.
17th and Irvine, you said?
17th
And you
and
have
Irvine,
you,
Costa
like-
Mesa.
So is that like by where is that?
It's like catty corner to Keen Coffee.
Okay.
but did you
By
know how?
Surfside?
Yeah, 17th,
Yes.
dude.
Yeah.
17th.
Dude, by Le Cave, you wasted freaking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
you know where Le
come on.
Cave is? Like a street over from Le Cave.
I know, I saw you in there back in the day.
Now he knows. Did you know how much square footage this place was? And it listed?
I had no clue.
You just saw.
Because that's a nice area.
That's what I mean.
And
the most expensive,
it's a nice area, but he said there's 2 other units there.
because it's 2009 and
Yeah, it's 2009, and
Yeah.
yeah.
market was hurting.
How much was he asking for?
At the time, he wanted $6,200 a month. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, we went the next day, and we, met him at the shop, and he opened the doors, and we walked in. Me and my wife walked in, and we're like, as we're walking inside, there was, tables, chairs, counters. As we keep going, freezers, refrigerators.
So it was a
blenders.
restaurant beforehand.
Yes. So basically, halfway walking through this place, me and my wife pretty much have tears in our eyes because we're going,
This is perfect.
everything is in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, the kitchen sink to everything.
No remodeling necessarily. Just
No remodeling
a
necessary.
clean.
And the cool thing is this: if people don't know, if you take over, let's say you take over a restaurant that went under and it was just closed, and they left all the equipment in there, you can actually, if you don't change, like if you can do like a 20% change in the place, but if you don't change much, you can just open. You don't need to submit plans. You don't need to submit anything to the health department.
Wow.
You just say,
You got
yeah, I'm opening as is.
You got the 3 sinks. You got the wash bin. You got everything's already approved.
Everything
Wow.
is in there. So everything was in there, and we looked at each other, and we both had some tears in our eyes because we're going, oh my gosh, like this is it. Everything's here, you know. And, you know, I look over to him and I go, I mean, we're definitely interested. And he says, okay, well, we'll talk tomorrow, but I want you guys to know right now, all this stuff that's in here, I don't want it. So if we do a deal, you're responsible for all this equipment. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to throw it away. That's on you guys. I'm not touching anything. You guys deal with it. Do we agree upon that? And I'm like, yes.
You're like, can we sit
Like,
down?
we want this.
Yes. I'm all, yes, we'll take it. You know what I mean? And he's like, okay, well, I can't meet you tomorrow. I'll meet you in 2 days, you know? And every time we'd meet the guy, he had his briefcase. He had his, like, folders out, you know, always ready. He was always ready with his briefcase. I'll never forget it. But, so anyways.
You broke him down.
Almost.
Okay.
So, the funny thing is that, you know, well, not the funny thing, but the thing is, we prayed, Lord, put on his heart to now work a deal with us. We got
Doors
him.
open.
Yeah.
Now he's got to sign a deal.
Yeah, like,
Not 60.
How's your
300.
How's your finances?
yeah. You know, he opened the door, he let us walk in and look at what's in here. And, you know, we were like, okay, Lord, put it on his heart to work a deal with us. We don't have the money. Still, 20 grand, like, it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not.
No.
I mean, to be honest,
It's
like,
$5,000 a month.
Yes.
$5,200 a month.
well, that's not even it. I mean,
Just for rent.
you gotta buy product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just for rent.
Yeah, you gotta buy product.
Yeah.
So, you know, anyways, yeah, a couple days later, I called him up and I said, hey, so did you want to meet? And he's like, yeah, let's meet across the street again. We always met at Starbucks. Used to be a Starbucks across the street there. And we met at Starbucks, and basically for 3 weeks in a row, I met the guy and negotiated every day for 3 weeks in a row. And we prayed every day, Lord, put it on his heart. Because he wanted to charge us top dollar.
Yeah.
You know, he was like not willing to budge. And we were like, before we met him, after we met him, Lord, we pray, Lord, like, put on his heart to work a deal with us, to want to like just show us some grace, just to be willing to work with us, you know? So actually, after 3 weeks, he finally, you know, we went to meet him, and my wife was like, he's over it. I'm like, what do you mean he's
Let
over
you
it?
down right now.
Yeah, she goes, I'm like, what do you mean he's over it? She goes, you pushed him too hard.
Yeah.
Look he doesn't have his briefcase, because as we're walking up, we can see, and he didn't have his briefcase.
Oh.
And we're
You're
like,
oh shit.
yeah, I'm like, well, we didn't come this far for him to be over it, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, we walk up, he stands up, he goes, I'm done. I'm not negotiating anymore. This is the deal. The deal is, you email me tonight exactly what you want, and I'll see you in the morning. I'm not going to play this shit anymore. And we're like, okay, no worries, okay, cool. We're going to email tonight exactly what we want. We're like, you know, and so it was funny because when we got home, me and my wife were on the computer, and of course she's doing the typing. She's, you know, a pro at that. I'm horrible. And I'm like, okay, so let's talk about it. Like, what are we going to, like, tell them we can do?
Yeah.
She's, I don't know. What do you think? I'm like, okay, well, let's just tell them the first year's free rent.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask, like, hey, we'll pay like 2 months free, or we'll pay 2 months up front, and that'll leave us some money. You went, holy.
You went full retard.
I went full retard. Exactly.
He said work out a deal.
Yeah. Well, he did say, just email me exactly what you want. So we emailed him. First year, free rent. Second year, $1,000 a month. Third year, $2,000. Fourth year, $3,000. And we just scaled it up.
Yeah.
You know? And we sent it to him. And he told us, you know, that day, like, hey, meet me the following morning. So we already knew we had to meet him in the morning.
Oh my
And
God.
so we met him at like 9 a.m. We show up and we're praying, Lord, put in his heart, like, give us a chance. Like, just give us a break here. Like, you know? And we roll up and he stands up and he's like laughing and he's like...
I love your guys' tenacity. I love the way you guys are approaching this.
He's like laughing. The guy's laughing his ass off and I'm like, what's so funny? He goes... You know, I don't know what got into me. I've never done such a horrible deal, but I'm actually going to sign this thing.
Shut.
Yeah.
What?
But, he goes, but I need a $10,000 deposit. You
Half
told
your
me,
money.
You told me you got 20 grand.
Yeah.
You give me 10, I'll sign this. And we'll sign it right now and you have a deal.
It's fair.
I said, oh man. I looked at my wife. I'm like, oh my gosh, we already like knew what we were going to do with that 10.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. He's all, did you bring your checkbook? And my wife's like, yeah, I got the checkbook. He's all, okay, write me a check for 10 grand. And it's yours. So we wrote him a check.
I find the story so fucking amazing
Dude.
and unbelievable.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Like,
Well,
the fact,
I mean,
Yes.
come on, dude. Like,
absolutely.
like you
you
found
threw
this-
out what you wanted, like he asked you to do, and you did it.
and
Yes.
I'm mind
I
blown.
bet because the way you guys worded it and what you were, the extreme that you're so far off.
You met with
Absolutely.
Like you
You
said, he
met
was
with the-
laughing. He's like, these guys have no idea. I'm going to give him a shot. At least
You
I'm going to
met,
get 10
you
grand.
met with them
Yeah.
how many times? Like 10 times?
What?
You met with the
over the 3-week period.
Oh, at least.
8 times, 10 times.
No, at least I met him 10 times.
Yeah.
We met him at least 10 times talking about the deal. And we sent it. So we sent it in. First year free and then $1,000. Each year went up $1,000. And he was like, okay, but I want 10 grand. We wrote him a check for 10 grand and he gave us the keys and said, okay, it's yours. And so literally we like went in there, we cleaned all the refrigerations, we cleaned the walls, we
Everything
did
worked.
a little paint, we plugged everything in, everything worked.
Oh.
Everything worked. It wasn't the right equipment, but it was good enough equipment to get started.
Yeah.
And so everything worked. And
Oh my
and
god.
literally, like, you know, and that's funny is I told him when we signed the deal, I said, dude, you don't even know. I'm going to become your best tenant. And he laughed at me and he goes, everyone tells me that.
Sucker.
I know. And I was like, well, you'll see. I will be. And me and you, we're going to become boys. And you'll see. I'll be your best tenant.
Yeah.
Well, sure enough, we became boys and we're his best tenant. And actually, whenever there's like an empty unit, he always hits me up and says, hey, dude, this is who I have interested in this spot. And if you have anyone, let me know. And sometimes I give them people and sometimes I go, yeah, dude, let them in.
Okay.
How long since you guys signed the deal to actually open up, like the remodel, like cleaning? and-
So
how long was that process?
So the process took probably, it took like probably 2 weeks
Okay.
to
That's
clean.
pretty quick. That's pretty quick.
To clean, to like know the product that we need, like search everything out and get the product in.
And your neighbor or
Find
your
your
old friends
suppliers.
that you knew,
Yes.
they were your supplier for the Asahi still.
They were supplying me at that point, and and that was it. It was like, it took a couple weeks, and then I just never forget, like we were just so scared to open, because me or my wife never worked in a restaurant, so we were like, we don't know what the heck we're doing. We had no sign, okay. We didn't even have a sign.
Did you go flyer like all those surf brands or anything?
No.
Like,
I didn't. You know what? The funny thing is that I didn't tell anybody because I was like, dude, I can't like have all these people come in. We don't even know what we're doing. So we'll just slowly take it as it comes. You know what I mean? We knew we knew that if we could just make enough to pay for product, we didn't have rent to pay.
Yeah.
And so we'd have to pay for electricity and we'd have to pay for product.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, if we can just get, so many people in a day and grow it, then
And you want to get it.
we'll get there.
You wanted to get it dialed and figure out what you're doing.
Yes.
And then start promoting.
Yes.
Right.
And so 6 months into it, I called, Surfer Magazine. And I said, hey guys, what's up? It's Joe. How you doing? They're like, hey
And
man.
you were still at Tavik. Sorry.
No. So, okay, so we'll back up.
Mm-hmm.
So when we opened Bonsai Bowls, I actually quit Tavik, consulted them on the side, and I actually brought on three other companies to consult.
Nice.
Just so I can pay all my bills.
Yeah.
So to cover our bills, to cover our rent, our car payments, and to pay the electricity and just eat enough.
And that's a feat in itself.
Yes.
That's a fucking hustle right there.
Yeah. So I was consulting a few brands while we opened. And I told my wife, I told myself, as soon as we can, we make enough money to cover the bills of the store, I'm going to drop everything.
Yeah. Go full.
I'll go
full bar.
Full
retard.
Yes. Full bore Bonsai Bowls.
Full bar.
Yeah.
Full
Exactly.
barn. Full rebar.
Yeah. So, and probably about 6 months into it, that's what happened.
It was only 6 months.
Yeah, it took about 6 months to where we are covering our costs
Okay.
of the shop. And you got to remember, we're not paying rent. So
Yeah.
it was just the electricity and
And he didn't even ask for percentage of sales or
nothing.
Bro, you
Scored.
Yeah.
scored
It was a miracle. That's what I'm telling you. It was
Yeah.
a miracle. The Lord opened the door.
Yeah.
We prayed, he gave.
Yeah.
And
It's freaking that's
yeah.
phenomenal.
And then 6 months into it, I had a meeting with the magazine, and I said, hey, I want to come in and talk to you guys about the new brand I'm working for.
Yeah.
Bonsai Bowl.
And they were like, okay, well, who is it? I'm like, dude, I'm going to bring you guys lunch and talk to you then. So just make sure everyone's there.
Yeah.
And so I brought a dozen bowls into Surfer and brought them food, and everyone's like, dude, what the hell is this, bro?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's good, right? They're like, yeah. Everyone's eating, and then I don't know who it was. Someone asked me, so what is it that you're doing? I'm like, you're eating it. What? And I said, you're eating it. And I'll be back in 6 months, and you're going to tell me how you're going to give me free marketing, free play. I want to be involved in events, and I want to, and, if you can throw me some free ads, that'd be great.
So you're working side deals, hey, I'll do some product swap essentially for marketing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart. I mean, that's your leverage right there. That's your collateral.
Absolutely. My goal was to literally, if you think about it, this, Jay and Lyndon, contests, all they served you were donuts and bagels.
Crappy.
Yeah.
Crappy food.
You ate horrible food.
Yeah,
the worst food
I think
before you go out to and eat.
NSSA did pancakes, grill out the back
Yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah.
Gut
So you get a brick in your stomach and you're supposed to go surf, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to change that.
You blew people's minds with that, with serving a healthy, delicious food.
Yeah. We hope so.
Dude, this is so.
I love it.
I can't believe your
Well-
persistence and pulling it off. It's just it's pretty phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. I mean, and the fact that you hear people that start companies and the intern and they work for this and they ended up branching out. You didn't have any experience.
No.
And you had the idea, which was obviously
Well, it was a new
was
product.
everything.
No one, when we opened Bonsai Bowls, no one even knew what an acai bowl was.
Yeah.
There was no place going, hey, yeah, we do all these acai bowls.
We're doing like this, but better. But you're this is it.
Yeah.
There is no-
So when did you finally get a sign?
Oh my God. You ready for this? So the funny thing is we couldn't afford a sign. So, when you see all these lit up signs, those are $8 to $10,000.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay?
Yeah.
And we didn't know that because me and my wife started calling sign companies, and they're like, yeah, what are you looking for? I'm like, hey, this is what we need. We need a lit up sign because our landlord, after 6 months, my landlord was yelling at me, dude, when you getting a sign? I'm like, we're not gonna afford one, bro. I can't afford one yet. You know what I mean? And he gave us some numbers to call, and everyone's like, yeah, it'd be like 8-10 grand. I'm like, dude, we don't have 8 to 10 grand, you know? And so literally, this is what's great. We prayed about getting a sign, okay? This is what's funny. And it's so killer to this day. So my wife was like, we need a sign, man. Our landlord is getting pissed. I'm like, I know he is, but what are we going to do? You know? And I'm like, you know what? Hey, let's pray that we find someone willing to work with us to get a sign, right? So...
That worked with that.
Yeah.
With the lease.
It worked. It's what made it happen, right? So I had to go back to it. And, you know, we asked the Lord, hey, send us someone that's willing to work with us. Well, I was off. See, all our honey and bee pollen in our stores is from a bee farm. So I don't buy store-bought honey. If you look at our honey, it's really dark brown honey. And I get it from a bee farm and all our bee pollen. So I was actually at our beekeepers picking up honey, and my wife called me and said, Joe, you're not going to believe this. Jesus sent us a sign guy. And I'm like, what? She goes, yes, you're not going to believe this. When you get here, I'll give you his name and his card, and you need to call him. I'm like, all right, cool. Okay, great. So I pick up our honey. I get back to the shop. I'm like, all right, who's the sign guy? She goes, here's his card. His name is Jesus. I'm not even joking, dude. His name is Jesus. And I'm like, what? And she goes, Joe, this guy came in and he just started his sign business. He was working for this big sign company. And
he's looking for
he's been screwed around.
He's you, but a sign guy.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes. And he came in and he said, just give your husband my card and tell him I'll work with you guys. And I'm like, okay. So I call the guy and I go, and he goes, hello? And I go, is this Jesus? And he's like, yes, this is Jesus. I'm like, Jesus, bro, I hope you're the answer to my prayers. And he's like, what? I'm all, we need a sign, man. And we've been praying, and the Lord sent us you, Jesus. So come on, bro. What do we got here? And he was like, okay, well, this is the deal. I can do your sign for $3,200. Wow. I'm like, Jesus, I don't have $3,200. Can I pay you in 2 payments? Yeah. I'm like, can I pay you in a couple payments? And he was like, yes, I'll work with you. And I was like, perfect. So he built our sign, and I actually told the guy, listen, dude, because of you and working with us, I am going to tell everyone I know, whoever I know that needs a sign, I'm gonna refer you.
Yeah.
And dude, not let alone does Jesus still make all my signs, even in Hawaii and all our stores here. But I introduced them to this gentleman who owns 30 Subways. Subway ended up taking them. Nothing Bunk Cakes.
Yeah.
I introduced him to the owner of that.
Yeah.
They use them. They're franchised everywhere. And dude, the guy to this day, he does our sign. He doesn't even want to charge me. He bought his own building in Santa Ana, owns his own building, his own employees, and he's like, dude, I owe everything to you. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I owe everything to you. You gave us a chance.
Yeah.
You were willing to work with us and give me a chance to make us a sign. And I told you, dude, I would refer everybody.
Dude.
And so...
You hear that, people? It's all about being cool and giving somebody a chance.
Absolutely.
I'm honestly getting choked up right now.
Dude, that's freaking so amazing.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show, obviously, the power of prayer, but
yes.
Also just being persistent and treating people right and not giving up. And you could just you could check 10 boxes right now.
Absolutely.
You didn't have all the resources.
No.
And you did what it took.
Yeah. And
you asked, and you shall receive.
Exactly. And we prayed, man. I prayed hard, and it's crazy to think, but you know what? What's crazy is the blessings didn't stop there.
Yeah.
Because every time we open a store, we don't try to force it.
Yeah.
It's like a natural thing. If it happens, great.
So-
if not,
Cut back for 1 second. So you've got your sign. You guys are starting to kill it. The community, all the brands are starting to go to your right. All the
Yeah.
brands are finding about it.
Yeah.
More and more people are going to it. So when did you how many months did it take to where you're like, wow, babe, we're doing it. We're
Yeah.
killing it.
You know what? So our first year, all we did was save every penny we had, and I don't know, 4 days from the day we opened our first store, we opened our second in Laguna.
Within 1 year.
1 year, exactly.
Holy smokes.
Laguna, we're at
Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
Right by Laguna Surf and Sport, across the street from Wahoo's, right there.
You got free rent for a year?
No, but we negotiated a killer deal.
Across the street from Wahoo's.
Yes.
Okay.
And by then,
That was the second store.
Yes.
Okay.
Second store.
but by then you were able to show numbers and progress and say,
Yeah.
hey, since conception, we've increased sales month over month, and this is going to be.
Yeah.
Did you go to Union Bank for the loan?
You went by Union Bank.
I didn't take a loan. At this point, we were like, you know what? We're gonna use our money
Yeah.
to open
The second store.
our second store.
Yeah.
And
God,
and we
dude.
did. And then the next store was Huntington. And it's funny because I actually had opportunities to go on Main Street, but I didn't want to go on Main Street. Because I remember when I lived in Huntington and a lot of the boys I hung with,
Pete's.
yeah,
Yeah.
Pete's Mexican food,
Yeah.
I was like,
Love Pete's.
no one, in the summertime, a lot of guys, the boys don't want to go to Main Street,
Yeah.
but we'll go to Pete's Mexican food on Fifth Street.
Didn't I just say that? I hate
Yeah.
going to Main Street.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I wanted to be on Fifth Street. I was like, I want to be on Fifth Street. All the rad, cool little surf shops were always on Fifth Street.
Yeah, checked in. Was
Yeah.
just like a
That
couple
building
years
you're in is insane.
I know.
I love
really,
that. It's,
I love it.
Yeah, and
killer.
so, yeah, we found Fifth Street and opened that. And I mean, we opened all the stores with our own money. We don't have partners or investors. It's just me and my wife. And right now we have about 186 employees.
Wow.
And then come spring and summer, we're usually around 260.
Holy
Dude.
smokes!
This last summer was like 263. Yes.
I heard 5 hands touch every bowl.
Yes. So basically, the thing is this: we
We didn't even need to look at your
Dude,
questions, bro.
you know what? My investigative reporting over here, I got lots of questions. So.
Dude, this is like...
No, I love
But
it.
I mean, the thing, it's funny is that just like can we agree the board sport market's going through a change?
Yeah.
My business, the business of acai bowls is changing.
A lot of competitions popped up, and
Well, it's not even about the competition; it's how they're making it.
yeah,
See, the main ingredient to your bowl is the blended smoothie part.
yeah,
The added is the granola and the fruit, right?
yeah,
And your bowl wouldn't be good if you didn't have the blended in it.
yeah.
And all these places,
Or
I
fillers
can.
that just
Yes.
take away.
So all these places around every store, I don't know of one that blends and makes your bowl like we do, with real acai packets. A lot of places are either using a yogurt machine or they're using sorbet to make your bowl, which is nothing but fillers and stabilizers and all this
Additives.
crap.
Yeah.
Not one place in Huntington,
Laguna,
Orange County,
yeah.
all these places, they're all trying to turn it into fast food.
Yeah.
See, we've always believed we were a fast casual. Like, we're not fast food. We'll try to make it as fast as we can.
Yeah.
But we are going to give you the best product we can. And, I'll be honest, our number one complaint is people say it takes too long.
Yeah.
But the thing is that...
And they don't answer the phone when I try to call it in. I'm just telling you. I'm not going to say which location, but,
I can take
you
a
can
guess.
probably figure it out.
I can take a guess. They're probably like 200 bowls deep.
Yeah,
And you're calling. And they're
for
like,
sure.
dude, we got to take care of the 200 bowls in front of us.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. But, I mean,
There's another
that's
good
the
name.
thing.
Bowls Deep.
Yeah.
Keep it PG, bro.
I know, sorry.
Yeah, we don't want to get in trouble. But, yeah, so...
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so that's like the deal. And the thing is I told you earlier, my dad works here. So my dad started working for us probably 7 years ago, you know, because I would, you know, help my parents out. When I started making money, I was like, okay, I'm going to help my parents.
Yeah.
And one day my mom called me and she said, Joe, your dad's coming to see you. Don't you say no. And I was like, what?
You knew.
I was like, what? Everything all right? And she's like, everything's fine, but your dad's coming. I was like, okay. My dad shows up. He's like, hey, you know, I want to talk to you. I'm like, all right, what's up? Well, I can't just take your money. You can't just give me money. You know, I appreciate it. We, of course, appreciate it. We want to make it, you know, but, you know, you got to give me a job. You got to let me work. You need me. And I'm like, I do? I'm like, well, what are you thinking? And he's like, you know, I can come in and I can touch up paint and I can fix these little things and, you know, let me do it. I can, you do need this. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I do need it.
Yeah.
You know? And so, anyways, I told my dad, okay, well, you're not working 5 days a week. You can work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's it. You know? And he was like, all right. So, I'm actually the most blessed guy because I get to see my dad, you know, a few days a week. My kids get to see their grandfather.
Yeah.
They love him, you know. This is a family business, and my kids are always here in the office, and, you know, and they see my dad all the time, dude. And, like, what more can you ask for? You know?
Man, like I said, I was pretty choked up a little bit earlier. And your story is, like, pretty amazing. It's unique. I can't believe you guys were so persistent and passionate about it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, you know, it's you know, I mean, all I can tell you is that obviously if we want something, we have to be persistent about it.
Yeah,
you know, and at the end of the day, we gave it to the Lord, man. Like, who's more powerful than that? I mean, you know, and. You know, I believe the Lord knows our heart and knows what we want. Yeah. And, you know, and we were willing to give it, you know. And also, you know, I believe, like, when I say the Lord knows your heart, like, dude, like, we don't take advantage of what we have.
Yeah.
You know, we constantly give back. We work with multiple charities, and from employees to other people, we help out. You know,
let's talk about that. So you mentioned you have 7 doors.
Yes.
And let's talk about where they're at. You have 2 in Hawaii.
2 in Hawaii. So
where are they at in Hawaii?
We have one at Sunset Beach.
Okay.
And we have one in Haleiwa.
Okay.
Which we just opened this last summer, right across the street from Surf and Sea.
Awesome. So
next to Rip Curl.
This is the 17th and Irvine one still there?
Yes.
Okay, and then you have one.
So we have 17th Irvine.
Then Laguna Beach was the second one.
Laguna Beach. Third was Huntington.
Okay, third was Huntington.
Fourth was San Clemente.
San Clemente.
The fifth one was Blackie's Newport Beach Pier.
Yep.
And then the 2 in Hawaii. So that's our 7 stores.
Yep. Any plans of more or?
Yeah, we definitely plan on opening more stores.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're in a time of, like, right now, you know, what we've always done over the years is we'd open 2 stores, take a year off to deal with what we have, and then go back at it. And we're at that point where I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a couple years off from opening another store. We just launched an app. So actually, if you go download the Bonsai Bowl app, you can actually order your bowl. It tells you, hey, come pick it up in 20 minutes. It'll be there. You just walk up to the front of the line.
Sick.
And, you know, and then we're going to also, there's actually some new equipment that can speed up our process, but we're not going to change the way we blend bowls.
Yeah.
So blending's going to be the same, but there's some new equipment that can actually knock off a few minutes. We actually believe it'll knock anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes off producing a bowl. So
nice.
We're going to reinvest in all our stores. I mean, you know, you have 7 stores and one refrigerator costs $6,000.
Yeah.
Times 7 stores. So, you know, we have more than just one refrigerator to buy, right? Like, we got all these things we want to purchase to improve our pace. So that's going to happen at the pretty much after the new year. We're going to
More efficient.
yeah, we're going to start working on.
So you're listening to the consumers and
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're not. The thing is this: like, we're never going to change
what you produce.
the product we produce.
of course.
I mean,
That's your
unfortunate.
lifeline. That's
yeah.
your lifeline. That's
Well-
your DNA. That's everything about
You know what? The
what you
thing.
guys.
There's always room for improvement.
Yeah. Well, the thing is this. It's like, you know, it's like I go in my stores and if I see my employees not making the product, like let's say they make too much, right? And there's leftover product in the blender. It actually really like upsets me because I grew up where there was times the church brought us groceries. And so it really like upsets me when I see like we're wasting product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
as a business owner and personally from your experience, like that's,
Coming
And-
from
and it-
nothing.
yeah.
yeah, and it
I'm the same
really
way with-
bothers me.
Yeah, I'm the same way with my kids.
Oh, dude, I freak out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like you didn't finish. You didn't
Yeah.
finish that. Like
Oh, dude.
we always finished everything.
Absolutely.
You should go eat fried chicken with this guy.
Sounds good.
This guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like the cartoon. It's just like there's there's only a bone left.
Wait, the gristle's the best.
Yeah.
The gristle's the best part.
Dude, that's heavy. I don't think I can do the cartilage.
So, going back to it, you have 7 stores, 7 locations. You employ up to 200 and...
Up, you know, in the spring and summer, we're around anywhere from, this last spring and summer, we're around 200 and almost 60, somewhere right there.
That's
50
so
something.
amazing.
Yeah.
And are you providing... it's full-time, some full-time, some part-time?
Yeah, so each store has a few full-timers, which, you know, we give them paid vacations, insurance, all this stuff, you know. We're a family.
Yeah.
So, like, our managers are literally, like, we're tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We do fun things. We have a good time.
Yeah. That's what we love about our show. And like we were telling you earlier, we talk to surf shops and not talk about business, but talk about how they're integral to the community.
Absolutely.
And you're doing the same thing. You know, you're
supplying lifelines to people that are stoked to work for you, you know? And,
Yeah.
you know, they're...
So they can afford to pay their bills, you know? And,
Yeah,
and
I mean-
insurance, like, that's insane. Because
Yeah.
it costs you money to pay for insurance. It costs you
Absolutely.
a lot of money to run a business.
Yeah,
So,
and it's not, and you know, it's not cheap, and I mean, and you know, though we've been blessed to be growing every year. I mean, this year, you know, was challenging.
Yeah.
We had a half of December, January, February, March rain.
Rain. It was
You know?
ugly.
I mean, come on, you're in sales, guys.
It
like,
hurt.
you know how bad that
the
was.
weather
Yeah, it
affects
hurt.
everything.
It
Yeah.
does.
And you're in the same places that we're at.
Exactly.
So your challenges are the same challenges we
Yeah,
have.
we had a gnarly challenge this year, you know, and you know, when it's just us, you know, and people ask us, people ask us if we want to franchise or sell the business, you know, we're a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, to be honest, my son, my 7-year-old, you know, my wife called me and she like, you know, is emotional, calls me and I'm like, what's wrong? Everything all right? She's like, you're just not going to believe this. I'm like, what? She goes, you know, your son, they asked him at school, like, you know, what do you want to do? What do you want to be, you know, when you grow up? And he said, I just hope I'm lucky enough to work with my dad at Bonsai Bowls.
Woo!
See,
I'm like,
that is everything.
Dude,
right there.
this boy's gonna take it over, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and you know what? I mean, come on, think about it. Like, how, you know, I don't know. I you know, we're here all the time. Our kids are here. They love it. All my, like,
Why would you change it?
our management, our people in our office, like, those are like my kids' aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, my auntie this and uncle this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we love it. And they love it. You know? And when we go and when we do events and we serve bowls, you know,
They're there.
look and see if you see my kids serving bowls. They'll be
Yeah.
behind there and they are psyched to be behind the booth and, like, help serve.
They're
bowls.
psyched to be at the beach and these skate events and everything, meeting
Yeah.
all the pros.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they know what it's all about.
They do,
yeah.
dude. They're
They're
love
smart.
it.
But you
Yeah.
guys do. I mean, you do a ton of team riders and stuff, and it seems like
Yeah.
I was looking at the list in
Yeah,
almost every location. You have a few,
Of
you know, local
Yeah.
team
Groms.
riders and stuff.
Yeah,
which-
it's very important. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is that, we have these stores and you got to have local guys, you
Yeah.
know? I mean,
Yeah.
we have our big athletes we pay, and then we have our local athletes, and, we have a
Who-
few layers.
Who are your big athletes?
Griffin Colapinto,
Sick.
Tatiana Weston Webb, Mason Ho.
Jay Larson?
Late night with Chalky?
We can work some deals, we have,
Hey, remember that one time I did that layback on like a 7.3?
I remember
You
that
scored a 9.
That was like a 9.5.
Yeah,
dude.
see?
You got ripped.
That's
You
what
got
I've been
ripped.
telling everybody my whole career. I got ripped off on that store, bro.
Exactly. I was like bumping you up, dude. The big, it's always the man bringing you down, dude.
We did talk a lot about surfing, and we're pretty much going to have to cut it off pretty soon here because
No worries.
my computer battery is... I didn't bring my plug, and I didn't...
No
No,
problem.
we're not.
We were at 100%.
We're running till the battery's out, bro.
We're at 19.
Yeah.
We're at 19% left.
Beautiful. I
Which
love that.
is... We're at 2 hours and 4 minutes,
Linden
bro.
Oh,
farmed
wow.
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
So we got a few more questions, but
Okay, power it up.
I mean, one's probably the number one question we're gonna get asked, or you'll get asked. What's your number one selling bowl?
Oh.
Do you even know? Do you guys keep tallies? I mean, obviously.
I
you know.
mean, what's crazy is people ask us that all the time.
Yeah.
But
It's
every
all
location
personal.
is a different bowl.
Yeah.
Like Huntington, to be honest, we sell the most Bonsai Bowls in Huntington.
Yep.
But then you come over to Costa Mesa, it's the Sharks Cove.
Yep.
You go to Laguna, it's the Maui Sunrise. Like,
Wow. That's cool.
yeah, it's like every location
So you know all
is different.
the menu is dialed because they all do well.
Yes,
Yeah.
it constantly changes.
And
I
you
mean,
have... Now that I remember, broke the mouth too, right?
I closed it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes.
I ate there a
closed
couple
it.
times. Just to
Did
let
you?
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, dude.
Yeah.
How did you like it?
I loved it.
Did you? It was
Yeah.
fresh all the time. That was my problem. That's why I closed it. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It was too hard chasing fresh fish every day. That's
Yeah.
the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
It's
Yeah.
impossible.
It really is.
You can't overdo yourself.
No.
You got to focus because a lot is riding on
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Well,
It's better to...
It's crazy. It's like, it's funny is, you look at like my last year and a half has been probably the gnarliest since we started. And because the last year and a half, like we started working on a store in Haleiwa,
Yeah.
okay? And then we bought a home and completely gutted and remodeled the whole thing.
Which is a whole nother job.
Yes, and I was there at that house from 5 a.m. till like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, every day for almost 6 months. And then we're building our store in Hawaii at the same time. Then in our lease for our Laguna store, we had to remodel it. So I had to remodel that store. I built a commercial kitchen in my warehouse, and we were building an app. So this last year has been the craziest year, and then we got hit with the horrible weather, right? So we not alone dropped our entire nut on all this building, but then bam, you get hit,
Yeah.
and you can't predict the weather.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't predict it, as we know.
Last spring sucked.
Yes,
Sucked.
it was
Um,
heavy.
Well, I mean, going back to like your roots on, having not a lot of money, opening the shop with just pretty much what was in there, and then now you're building out these new stores. Like the aesthetics is pretty awesome. Like you're using a lot of like kind of vintage product, a lot of like
Yeah.
reclaimed, which is kind of trending right now. But the way you guys did it doesn't look like it's cookie cutter. Like it looks very like authentic to me.
Yeah, I mean, I just want us to be who we are.
Yeah.
And to be honest, growing in Whittier, my dad he always had old cars.
Yeah.
And he would rebuild an old car, keep it for a little bit, sell it, and then work on another old beater. And between that and, loving surfing and skateboarding, and I love Americana.
Yeah.
You know, like I love, you know, when things were made in America back in the, you know,
Back in the
40s,
days,
50s, 60s, and they lasted. You know what I mean? And so that's why, you know, you come in my office or you go in some of these stores and you see old things. That's just us.
It's
you know?
it's almost like a little like, you know, throwback, you know, for sure. Like with all the nostalgic like pieces, but a lot of eclectic stuff too. That's really cool. Like you obviously, I don't know where you found a lot of the stuff, but it's pretty awesome.
I'm a junker.
Dude, we're fine. We're at 16%, Lyndon. We got a good 10 minutes left.
So
Chill.
you
Don't get mad, man.
so you sponsor West Coast Board Riders Club.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Did you know that we're the official podcast partner of the West Coast Board Riders Club?
I did.
Okay,
I
cool.
do know that. I heard that on one of your podcasts. You talked about being the official.
Yep.
Official.
We're official. And
Yes.
I mean, yeah, we love what they're doing, and we love the sponsors like you and Caliente, and you know, obviously each club has their corporate sponsor, but the fact that you could go down and have your guys' food.
You know what? The thing is, I love about it the most. It's community, right?
Yeah.
It's community, and like, you know, I believe surfing can succeed if we get back to that.
Yeah.
If we get back to that community and support that. When the board riders first started, I was the first sponsor.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm in. I love the idea.
Right.
I know how board riders is in Australia and what it's turned into. And if that can be the dream for this here, the community benefits.
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy how fast it's exploded.
Yes.
That
You know,
just-
East Coast is doing the same thing now too.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a good sign of, you know, was it needed? For sure. Is it a really great concept? Yes. It's not new. It's come from, you know, the Australia, you know, culture over there. But like you said, going back to community and roots, and I feel like everybody's just accepting open arms and like, sign me up. This is awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, how do you know? To me, I look at it. You know, when I started Bonsai Bowls, my biggest thing was events.
Yes.
Because I wanted to be in front of people, and I feel like today a lot of companies don't get in front of people anymore. You know, you got to remember we're trying to buy that sale, right? And the way you're buying that sale is, you know, these brands, they pay this money for advertising, and they're doing it on Instagram and Facebook now, and all these, and online somehow or another. But like, if you have a chance to touch one, right?
Yeah.
I've always believed if you touch one, you touch 10.
Yeah.
And that 10 touch another 10 or 5, right? It's the chain. It's
authentic marketing because, you know, you're stoked to be a part of whatever event is there, and that's why you're there.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
But
I've always been a proponent of organic and authentic and, you know, direct communication.
Absolutely.
But even with the fast, you know, like, I wouldn't say, you know, the fast that this world is moving and how everything's instantaneous, people could read through like kind of
The bullshit.
And the trends. Like, they're always chasing, oh, here's a new trend, and it's like, it doesn't need to be that complicated.
No.
You know, like, you are putting out a great product, and you just want to surround yourself at great events that people are going to be stoked to be, you know.
Absolutely. And it's a chance to give back to our, you know, our patrons, the ones that come in and actually buy.
Yeah.
You know, they come to an event. I mean, when we do an event, you know, I never wanted to just be there for breakfast or just be there for lunch. Our thing is we show up in the morning, we feed all the staff, we feed every competitor, we feed their family, and we go till 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We're there all day.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen how heavy those coolers are. You're leaving. Those things are empty.
Yes, absolutely. Exactly.
I saw John at one of the events, and he was like, "Yeah, we had to get trucked in to get dropped off all the coolers, and then
for sure.
Yeah, they're a lot of work.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, each event we do, we're giving out probably a minimum of at least 500 bowls.
Damn.
Some double that.
Yeah.
Because people have 7, like your son, or like, you know, you have two, and we don't mind though.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I mean, to be honest, when I see the kids frothing,
Yeah.
or even adults when they can't believe they get one,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, grab one, man. Really?
Yeah.
I can have one? Of course you can have one. They're like, oh my God, you know, they trip out. They're excited.
Super appreciative,
Yeah,
for sure.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so amazing. I mean,
Have you surfed the wave pool yet?
what's
Kelly's-
the wave pool? There's not the
Kelly's
wave pool.
wave
There's
pool?
lots of wave pools.
Are you inviting me?
I would love to invite you.
I'm in.
I think we need to do a bonsai day.
I did not do that one, but I just
I
surfed.
know you. I saw. That's why I was leading up to like.
You know, we've had a great partnership with Rip Curl, you know, and we've been, you know, what's funny is when we first started Bonsai Bowls, the first year, one of our first events we did was the Rip Curl Grom Search.
Nice.
And we just showed up, gave away bowls, right? And then after a few years, we became the title sponsor, and we've been the title sponsor of the Rip Curl Grom Search for years now, you know, and I mean, they do such a good job with that series.
For sure.
And it's so killer to see the kids. They're very competitive, and to see the drive in them wanting to win this and take this thing out, you know. And so this year the championships was in Waco at the BSR Ranch. I actually got a couple hours that, you know, I gave our team riders, and then me and my boys got an hour, and then actually Rip Curl hooked us up with an hour, so got to surf that thing. It's
fun, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I left wanting way more than I got.
Yeah, Larson
You know?
surfed it before.
Yeah, super fun.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Great package, like atmosphere, like best pool day, but you're surfing, which is totally weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Because
is.
you can yell at your friends. You're. It's very hands-on, I guess. You know, very.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
You're
crazy. I mean, and to be honest, like, I was so surprised how that thing can slam you to the bottom. I mean, dude, it's
You
straight
get hurt.
concrete.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, oh my God. I think it was like my fourth or fifth wave. Smashed the front end of my nose, just got obliterated from hitting the bottom.
Yeah.
You
It's,
know?
it's
I got
so
hurt
dangerous.
at Kelly's pool twice.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Stitches and then almost
No
sliced my
way.
fucking face. Yeah.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh, I
He's-
believe
This is
it.
no
he's
joke.
injury prone though.
People have dislocated shoulders and stuff.
Oh.
Like, I'm sure it's happened at Waco.
I believe
too.
it now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, a buddy of mine, before I went out there, I knew he surfed, and I'm like, dude, how was it? He goes, bro, be careful, land flat.
Yeah.
I hit my head, and I got a concussion for a few days. I
Wow.
was out. I'm like, you're kidding me. He goes, yeah, so just,
Yeah.
dude, be careful.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, glad you told me. And then I get there, and I'm like, dang, dude, this thing can slam you, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got more punch than
Yeah.
you really think it would, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
It's fun.
Yeah, for
All right.
sure.
What do you think? We got to cut this off.
All right. Battery's wearing out. I think
Battery's
we're coming to
worn-
an end. I think
Yeah.
we've really had a great conversation with you, Joe, and thanks for opening up to us and all
Thank
of our
you.
listeners. And I mean, it just goes to show that, you know, hard work and dedication and not giving up and the power of prayer and just
Believing
you
in
know,
yourself.
yeah, making it happen.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You made
I
a
appreciate it.
phenomenal dream come true,
Well,
and you're giving back.
we're chasing it,
Yeah.
chasing it every day. You know.
Keep the dream alive.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have one more thing.
Yes.
I'd like to thank our veterans.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Today is Veterans Day. I'd
Yeah.
really like to
It
thank all our
is.
veterans. Because of them, we're here.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have this freedom we enjoy.
Freedom.
You know, that freedom allows us to chase our dreams, right?
That's
so
it. It's
I'm
all
very
about-
thankful for our veterans.
We are.
Just
Thank
wanted
you.
to throw
Yeah.
that out there.
It
Joe,
is.
I am so impressed with what you've done with Bonsai Bowls.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's a great American dream story.
A kid from fucking Whittier
Yep. Wet.
Hey, Whittier's
that
awesome.
left-
You know, kid that left home,
left
at
home
16.
at 17 years old, bought a house in Mexico at 16 years old,
Yeah.
mowing lawns,
Yeah.
paying $1,000 a month, pulling that off, right?
Yeah.
No school. You graduated high school because
Grinding
your
it out in
mom.
action sports industry.
You want to know what's crazy? In my warehouse, I still have my original edger I used to mow yards with. I do.
It's amazing.
It's like my reminder of, hey, this is
Where you come from?
I come from, and I love it.
Yeah.
Because I used to go around, knock on doors. I'll mow your front and backyard for $10, and I'll edge it for 15. You know?
Yeah.
And I used to push the lawnmower and tie a rope onto the edger and drag the edger behind me.
On your skateboard?
No, walking up and down the streets.
Yeah.
I would walk so far, man. Oh my gosh, I'd be gone.
So, from Ed Sakel to Emu to Tavik to Bonsai Bowl.
Yeah.
It's a great American story.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks for employing 260 people a year.
Oh, when
You know, that's
summertime.
And
that's huge.
And getting people, eating healthy at the same time, experiencing like, hey, there's different ways to fuel your body.
Well, you know what the thing is we're just trying to be the best at what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's perfect, but I will tell you this. Being a kid who grew up in Southern California and my dad would take me to In-N-Out Burger, I look at that and I go, hey, if I can just be around as long as they were, be family owned, and like give the best product that we can, then that's what we're shooting for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if my kids can grow in this and learn it and love it, then hey.
Yeah.
What's the new app? How do you download the new app?
Just go to Android or Apple, go to search apps,
Banzai Bowl.
Bonsai Bowls, you'll see our app, and basically you download it. It's like Uber, right? You put your info in there. On our side, we see like the last 4 numbers of your credit card, so we don't see everything. But you put it in there, you pick the location, you can order your bowl, and then you can save your favorite bowl. So then each time all you got to do is hit it, and it'll just order your...
And can you do a specific time, like, hey, first available, like I'm coming now, or can you reserve it for a later time?
Well, no, it's more like we tell you the time. So when you place the order, it automatically tells you
it's
you
going to be
pick
ready
it
at
up.
this
15
time.
minutes.
Okay.
It's usually the app right now is around 15 to 20 minutes.
That's cool.
That's what it always says.
I'm downloading it right now.
Yeah.
Joe Bard,
Yes.
Bonsai Bowl, amazing.
Thank you.
Killer story.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
sharing it.
Yeah, thanks for the Pacific.
Keep up the good work.
Oh yeah, those Pacificos were good.
We love Bonsai Bowls.
Banzai Bowl out!
You.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please give us a 5-star rating and spread the word.
Special thanks to our good friends James Williams for our awesome artwork and Justin Reynolds for the amazing music.